Both these teams need points on the board and a bit of momentum. Luton are going to be using this raucous Kenilworth Road crowd to their advantage to try and overcome Wolves. Both teams putting in decent performances, but points mean prizes, according to Bruce Forsyth. Is our match commentator Ian Dante going to be able to resist doing an impression? He's alongside former Arsenal winger Perry Groves. Sit back and enjoy live commentary of Luton against Wolves in their company.
Thank you, Faye. She's dared me already, Perry. She's dared me. Seconds in. Welcome to Kenilworth Road. It's the first time that Wolverhampton Wanderers have been here to Bedfordshire since an FA Cup third round tie in January 2013 when Luton were a National League side. And they won that day, Luton, by 1-0, and that cost the then Wolves manager Ståle Solbakken his job. He's now in charge of the Norwegian national team, so he's moved on, and definitely Luton have, making that incredibly quick journey, equaling Wimbledon's record of going from National League to Premier League inside a decade. And here they are trying to get their first win at the fifth attempt here in front of their own this afternoon. They make two changes, Luton, from the team which lost narrowly at Fulham in the Premier League last time out. Recall for Alfie Doughty and a first Premier League start for Chidozie Ogbene. Mads Anderson and Tahith Chong both dropped to the bench. Thomas Kaminski then is the Hatters goalkeeper. Rhys Burke, Tom Lockyer and Amari Bell in a back three. Issa Kabore, Albert Lokonga, Marvellous Nakamba and Alfie Doughty across midfield. Ogbene will be playing with Jacob Brown and big man Carlton Morris in attack. As for Wolves, unchanged from the 3-1 home defeat to Liverpool that we brought you on Talksport last Saturday lunchtime. Jose Sarr in goal, Nelson Semedo, Craig Dawson, Maximilian Kilman, Ryan Ait-Nouri in their back four. Joao Gomez and Mario Lemina holding in midfield. Hwang Hee-chan, Jean-Rickner Bergard and Pedro Neto will be playing in behind Matheus Cunha in attack. Kenilworth Road is alive. I was here enough times in the recent championship seasons to know what a terrific hostile atmosphere can be created at this tight little stadium. And Luton, in their orange shirts with the white trim, orange socks and black shorts, they get the game underway on Talksport 2, kicking from left to right as we look from our brand new vantage point here at Kenilworth Road at the top of the bobber stand above the executive boxes. So our view to the right is of the Oak Road end that Luton are attacking in this first half. Our look to the left is the Kenilworth end that Wolves, in their change strip of all turquoise, will be attacking in this first period. Issa Kabore, just down beneath our commentary position, hooks the ball out of play for a Wolves throw on the left-hand side. There's brand new scoreboards all around Kenilworth Road. The old rickety LED scoreboard they used to have above the Oak Road end has been replaced by a state-of-the-art Jumbotron, and that's indicating 48 seconds on the clock as Luton win possession back, and Jacob Brown can make tracks down the right-hand side. He's got Ait-Nouri at his back, and he brings him down, Ait-Nouri. Free kick to Luton down the right-hand side of the Wolves penalty area. 0-0 with a minute gone.
That was a great turn from Jacob Brown there, just got himself on the half-turn. Ait-Nouri got himself caught the wrong side. Jacob Brown just marauding down the right-hand side. In the end, Ait-Nouri just clipped Jacob Brown's right leg. It's a real dangerous position here for Luton on their right-hand side. Got three Luton players around the ball.
Well, Morris has now moved away. The two there, well, Albert Lokonga, he's just having a chat with Alfie Doughty. It's either going to be a right or left-footed delivery. It's at the Oak Road end of the ground. That's where the Wolves fans are. Packed into that one half of the Oak Road stand. There are Luton fans on the far side where it meets the main stand. Lokonga and Doughty then standing over it. It's almost at the right-hand corner of the box. Taken short for Doughty to try and drive in. It's blocked out to the left-hand side of the area, but Nakamba will retrieve first for Luton Town. Being closed down by Lemina. Wraps his left foot round it, hits it against Lemina, and wins a throw for Luton on that far side there left. 2 minutes gone, 0-0 on Talksport 2. Earlier today, Celtic won by 3-0 in the Scottish Premiership lunchtime kickoff. Despite having Joe Hart sent off in the first half, they still won by 3-0. And York won 2-1 against Woking in the National League. Here comes the throw from Rhys Burke into the area, flicked up in the air by Morris, drops at the edge of the area for Lokonga, who tried a shot, and there was a Wolves player back to block. Kabore will tidy up for Luton on halfway, and this flick ball downfield comes off the heel of Rhys Burke, and Ait-Nouri protects the ball over the dead ball line so that Wolves get a goal kick. But Joao Gomez is lying in the middle of his own half in some discomfort, may want some treatment. But the referee says, no, you don't need to come on to the Wolves physios. He'll be able to get stood up on his own 2 feet. And we'll restart the set with a Wolves goal kick, 0-0.
Well, I don't think there's any doubty Dance who's going to take the set pieces for Luton. Alfie on this left-hand side. Lukonga just rolled it to him, just changing the angle. Just whipped it in with his left foot. It was good defending from Dawson. Initially, ball went out over to the far left-hand side. Doughty took a long throw. And again, it was Dawson and Kilman making sure they're challenging for the ball in the air.
So far, all the play in these opening 3 minutes has been inside the Wolves half of the field to our right. Although Wolves have now won a throw, which Ryan Aitnouri is set to take. He's got a shorter haircut than when I last saw him, Ryan Aitnouri, the Wolves number 3. He's got options. Hwang has come short for the throw, but the header from Reece Burke sends it back from whence it came. Luton are the 51st team to play in the Premier League. Way over half of the 92, although of course there's more than the 92 that have been part of the Premier League thing of Oldham Athletic, who are in the National League these days. I'll keep you updated with goals elsewhere this afternoon, incidentally. Adrian Durham is taking you around the grounds over on Talksport with our reporters with goals as they go in, but I'll give you any updates about Premier League, EFL, National League, Scottish goals during the course of our commentary, where it's 0-0 here at Kenilworth Road.
Dance, we wonder how Luton we're going to set up. Obviously, they have gone 3-4-3 with Ogbonne playing to the left of Carlton Morris and Jacob Brown playing to the right of him.
As Hwang wins the ball back for Wolves down the left-hand side, appeals for a free kick that our referee Josh Smith has not given. It's only his second Premier League game as a referee, Josh Smith. And he watches on as Chidozie Ogbene tries to motor down the left-hand side. He skipped past Dawson, keeps it in play. Down by the corner flag, left-hand side. He's got support from Doughty. Doughty's crossing to the box. Up went the header from Jacob Brown, but it was headed behind by Aitnouri for Luton's first corner of the game at the Oak Road end, 0-0.
Really good link-up play on the Luton's left-hand side between Doughty and Ogbene. Doughty going on the overlap, but Ogbene not needing him. He said there, he skipped past Dawson, got his crossing. To be fair, it was brilliant defending from Aitnouri, coming in from left-back position from Wolves, making sure he stayed central so he could challenge Carlton Morris. Corner for Luton over on their left-hand side,
where the Oak Road end meets the main stand. So a left-footed outswinger to come from Alfie Doughty, who raises both arms, clips the corner kick up towards goal. Lockyer rose on the 6-yard line, but it skimmed off the top of his head. Drops on the right-hand side of the box for Albert Lukonga. Lukonga, good ball into the near post looking for Carlton Morris. Well defended by Craig Dawson. Headed out for another Luton throw, 0-0.
It's intense pressure from Luton Town. Don't you see, it's a policy of theirs when they get the ball into the wide areas that they're not going to take too many touches and make sure just whipping the ball into the box. This time it was Lukonga from this right-hand side. Really good defending from Dawson again at his near post for Wolves.
Goals going in elsewhere. Cruelly, Colchester by a goal to 0. Chris Long.
Offside.
No, he's not. Southend 0, filed 1 in the National League. Ipswich to take the lead against Blackburn in the Championship, Harry Clark. And Barnsley lead at Northampton in League 1, Callum Stiles. For the Tykes, 0-0 at Kenilworth Road. You're listening to Talksport 2. Wolves trying to come forward for the first time meaningfully this afternoon, but Tom Lockyer just thwacks the ball away to keep it away from Beauregard. Morris goes down under pressure, wants a free kick, nothing doing. And the ball's back with Jose Sarr, but his clearance downfield sails over the head of Pedro Neto. But picking it up is Matthias Cunha for Wolves, but Nakamba, who had such a great loan spell here from Aston Villa, became a permanent deal, and he's doing exactly what he did in the Championship side that won promotion there, Perry Groves, tidying up and making sure that Luton win possession back if they lose it. 6 minutes gone, nearly 7 now on Talksport 2. Luton 0, Wolves 0, Portsmouth 0, Lincoln 1 in League 1. Portsmouth the only unbeaten side in League 1, but Hakeem Adelakun has put Lincoln ahead at Fratton Park. Down the left-hand side, Amari Bell. Now it's a lovely flick from Doughty, and Ogbene's away, getting past Lamina to the byline, tries to pull it back, blocked by Lamina, but it'll come back to Ogbene again, down the left-hand side of the box. Right footed cross is blocked, comes back to Amari Bell. He puts it deep to the far post, flapped away by Jose Sarr. There was nobody behind him in a Luton shirt, and Wolves are able to bring it clear with Hwang down this near side, but he then runs it out of play next to where the dugouts are. Big way from the Luton fans. It's a throw to the Hatters. 7.5 gone, 0-0.
Hwang Hee Chang's Touch said, like he had diver's boots on, Dance. There was nobody around him at all. Wolves had a good position to get on the counter-attack, and he just kicked the ball completely out of play. You have to say, from Luton's point of view, Rob Edwards would be really pleased with the start, Dance. Coming up to 8 minutes, they're first to every little knockdown, every 50-50, getting the ball forward quickly, every opportunity. Down on the left-hand side, Doughty and Ogbene have looked really, really fruitful, just playing little 1-2s. Doughty going on the overlap. Ogbene has had a couple of 1v1s where he hasn't quite able to get the final cross into the 18-yard box, but Luton have looked really sharp.
Begard wins the ball back well for Wolves, and they're attacking down the left-hand side. Left-hand corner of the box, Hwang tries to turn inside Kabore, who managed to ricochet the ball half clear, but Wolves have it back with Hwang Hee-chan again. Now Ait Nouri looking for Hwang inside the area. Flag stays down for the moment. Gets to the byline, checks onto his right, tries to cross, and then as the ball's deflected away by Kabore, the flag does indeed go up for offside. Manchester City lead Nottingham Forest by a 1-0. Phil Foden on 7 minutes. Stevenage lead at Cheltenham in League One. Jordan Roberts for Stevenage. Cheltenham, no wins, no goals. Wade Elliott was released as manager in the week from Cheltenham. Oxford lead Exeter by a 0 elsewhere in League One. They've won 5 out of their last 6 in the league. Oxford, Ruben Rodriguez with their goal. Crewe have doubled their lead against Colchester. Sorry, Perry. Chris Long with a second, this time from the penalty spot. And Portsmouth equalise against Lincoln not long after going behind Paddy Lane with that equaliser down on the south coast.
You mentioned Cheltenham there. They haven't got no goals in their 8 games. They could set a record. I think Halifax in 1990-91, the only team have gone 8 games without scoring the first 8 league games.
Have you gone early with your pointless stat of the day?
No, that wasn't the pointless one.
Oh, you got one to come.
I've got a worse one.
Brilliant. Diagonal ball downfield for Luton. Breaks for Carlton Morris. 20 yards out. Checks onto his right foot. Goes for goal. Oh, hits the angle of post and bar and stays out. That looked destined. Brilliant hit from Carlton Morris. Sarr was beaten, but it smacked the angle of post and bar, and it stays 0-0.
Down from where we are, we thought that was going to nestle in Jose Sarr's top left-hand corner. Brilliant play from Carlton Morris, picking the ball 25 yards out, getting onto his right foot and just bending it, hitting the outside of the ball, trying to just bend it inside Jose Sarr's top left-hand corner and just ricochets back off the post.
Ogbene, left-hand side of the area for Luton. Early ball into the near post along the deck. It's just 5 yards or so ahead of Carlton Morris. And so Jose Sarr can claim it at his near post. 10 minutes gone on Talksport 2. It's Luton 0, Wolves 0, but Luton have just gone oh so close with a terrific right-footed effort from Carlton Morris.
I said that's just checking back onto his right foot from his left. Give Lamina a see you later. Lamina just completely sold himself. So it's been all Luton in this first 11 minutes. Wolves haven't really been able to get out of their own half.
Walsall 0, AFC Wimbledon 1 in League 2. Conor Lemonhay-Evans for the Dons, and Blackburn have equalised at Ipswich. 1-1 at Portman Road. Arne Sigurdsson. 0-0 at Kenilworth Road here on Talksport 2, with lots of great live sport to come later. Burnley, Manchester United at 8 p.m. on Talksport. Faye's going to be hot-footing it back to Talksport HQ to host that. Sam Matterface and Mickey Gray, your commentary team. Don't forget, on Talksport 2 from 7 tonight, all the boxing action starts at Wembley Arena. The undercard for Zhili Zhang against Joe Joyce 2, and it'll switch back to Talksport from 10 p.m. after Burnley Manchester United for the main event between Zhang and Joyce. Adam Cattrall, Gareth A. Davis and the crew, including Carl Froch, part of our commentary team tonight at Wembley Arena for the rematch between Zhang and Joyce. Lockyer for Luton Town at 0-0. Plays a lovely diagonal ball out to the far left-hand side, and Alfie Doughty chest it down, back to the edge of the area. Jacob Brown with a shot blocked by Kilman as Wolves desperately clear their lines and try and get the ball up to halfway. And that's a poor challenge in the end from Nakamba as Bayagard was sprinting towards halfway. He'll do well to escape a yellow card for that challenge, Nakamba, and he has escaped a yellow card. Free kick Wolves, but it has been pretty much all Luton Town in this opening 12 minutes.
Again,
0-0.
It's down that left-hand side, raking ball from the quarterback position from Tom Lockyer out to Alfie Doughty on that left-hand side. Great chest control from Doughty, got it onto his left foot, whipped the ball into the box. It came to Jacob Brown. I think their dance, maybe Doughty can just roll it back to Jacob Brown, then he invites him it first time, he sort of pinged it to him. Decent first touch from Brown, couldn't quite get his shot away because it was good closing down from Craig Dawson. But you say it's been incessant pressure from Luton Town unlucky not to go 1-0 up with the shot from Carlton Morris that smashed against Jose Sarr's left-hand post.
That's the voice of Perry Groves, former Arsenal title winner. Really looking forward to the North London derby tomorrow. He always is.
Not.
Yeah. Trip to the dentist, as Paul Hawksby calls it.
He's a marathon man, isn't it, with a drill. I can actually hear that in the back of my head.
You've missed none of the action here, by the way, because Jose Sarr, the Wolves goalkeeper, has just gone down and needs some treatment. You're listening to Luton 0, Wolves 0 on Talksport 2 with Now. Don't forget that with Now, you can stream all the Sky Sports action like Brentford versus Everton live today for £11.99. No contract, just search Now Sports for all the details. Morecambe 0, Swindon 1 in League 2. Swindon unbeaten at the start of this campaign. Daniel Kemp puts Swindon ahead. And Sarr is now back on his feet, so we will restart shortly with that free kick that Wolves have won just shy of the halfway line. The Wolves, one win in their opening 5 matches. They did the same in their debut season in the Premier League. That was 2003-2004. They also lost the 5th game, ended up relegated that season under Dave Jones. Craig Dawson will take the free kick, and we're back underway on Talksport 2. Tranmere 1, Accrington 0 in League 2. Josh Hawkes for Tranmere, of course, under new management with Nigel Adkins these days. 7 straight defeats for the side from the Wirral, but they're ahead. No goals here at Kenilworth Road. Lockyer works the ball back to his keeper Kaminski, and Kaminski just drifts the ball out to this near touchline for Issa Kabore. Trying to play it downfield for Luton, but it came off the chest of Ryan Ait-Nouri. This new commentary position we've got on top of the bobber stand really affords us a close look at the players from up above in this first half as they come down the Wolves left or the Luton right in the Kenilworth half of the field specifically. Here is, right underneath us, Ryan Ait-Nouri. Works it back to Joao Gomez on the halfway line. Has to go back into his own half for Kilman. Now Semedo, who's got his hands full, it seems, this afternoon. Nelson Semedo right back with Doughty and Ogbeni up against him effectively on that side. Hwang brings the ball down on halfway. Lamina along the halfway line being pressurised by Jacob Brown. Wolves are keeping possession here, but 65% of the ball so far has been Luton Town's, and that's no great surprise trotting that statistic out, is it, Perry Groves?
No, not at all. So they've been very, very sharp out the blocks. Just the ball coming there to Max Kilman for Wolves, and he's trying to release Ait-Nouri on this left-hand side, just far too straight. Ait-Nouri come short to go long. I think Kilman just maybe got to take an extra pass. But Wolves at the moment look a little bit shell-shocked, can't quite get into their stride.
Jacob Brown for Luton down the right-hand side. Kabore takes over, tries to smack the ball in from the right-hand side, and anywhere will do, and Semedo's the guy that gets it clear for Wolves, but Lockyer onto the clearance first of all. Manchester City 2, Nottingham Forest 0. Erling Haaland gets his name on the score sheet, and Bradford lead at Newport through Andy Cook just shy of the half hour. Bristol Rovers 1, Wigan 0. Luke Thomas for the gas, and Plymouth lead Norwich by a goal to nil. Morgan Whittaker with the opener at Home Park. Doncaster 1, Gillingham 0. Now here's Doughty down the left-hand side of the area, clips the ball to the far post. Brown with a header, but it's a comfortable save under his crossbar by Jose Sarr. But again, it's the left-hand side where Luton Town are getting most of their joy, but it stays 0-0.
Yeah, what's happening, there's been 2v1s on that left-hand side for Luton because Neto isn't getting back and helping Semedo, his fullback. Again, it's Doughty getting himself to the byline. When you get to byline, you just make sure you chip the up to the far post. Brown coming in, couldn't quite get the right person on his header. In the end, it was a simple save from Jose Sarr.
Wang wants a free kick as Kabore was wrestling with him for the ball on halfway, but a wag of the finger from the referee said, play on. Lockyer. We all know the Tom Lockyer story from the playoff final against Coventry. Terrific to see him back playing football and looking really sharp and solid at the back for Luton Town. There is a free kick to Wolves now. Middlesbrough 0, Southampton 1. What a massive game that is in the Championship at the Riverside today, and Southampton lead through Adam Armstrong. Borough yet to win, and no clean sheets now in 12 games for Michael Carrick and his side, and they're behind on Teesside. Wolves hit a long ball downfield, but that's aimless. It was looking for Cunha, but it bounced 15 yards ahead of him, and Kaminsky bowls the ball out to Doughty, and they're attacking down the left-hand side again, Luton. Ogbene trying to isolate Craig Dawson into the area. Doughty picks it up. Oh, he hits it against his own man. It was goal-bound, but it hit Carlton Morris on the 6-yard line. And Luton Town have done Wolves a favour by getting player in the way, but now they've won a free kick for a push on Ogbene, and the Luton Town pressure on the Wolves goal continues, 0-0.
Yeah, really good play again down the left-hand side with Doughty and Ogbene. Ogbene just getting himself free, pulling it back from Doughty on the edge of the 18-yard box, getting onto his right foot. Looks like he's going to nestle in the back of Jose Sarr's net, and he said there, Carlton Morris just comes running across Dance, hits him on the thigh, and he actually gets a good blocking from where Wolves' point of view is concerned.
So again, the debate is right or left-footed delivery, and Carlton Morris leaves Alfie Doughty to take this free kick himself. It's down the left-hand side of the Wolves penalty area, 10 yards from the dead ball line.
Dance is never ever going to be in Doughty, ever.
Here he is, taking it into the near post. Brown flicks it on out the near post, but his looping header goes way over the crossbar, and it's a Wolves goal kick. Elsewhere, Harrogate leads Salford by a 1-0. A George Thompson penalty for Harrogate, got nobody in free, but Salford 4 straight league defeats. And Burton won Fleetwood 0 in League One. They got their first win last time out at Port Vale, Burton Albion, and Fleetwood, under new management of Lee Johnson, find themselves behind at Burton. Joe Powell with the goal for the Brewers. 0-0 at Kenilworth Road on Talksport 2 with 19 minutes gone. Tenacious work from Carlton Morris and Jacob Brown to win the ball back down the Luton right. Spins away from Cunha. Brown works the ball in field to Nakamba. Lays it off to Lokonga, and then he sensibly goes backwards a square to Tom Lockyer, working the ball from right to left. Luton have it now on the far touchline in front of the main stand with Alfie Doughty. And then back it goes into midfield for first Lokonga and then Nakamba, and now Reece Burke has it on halfway for the Hatters. Lockyer again, looking early for Amari Bell. And he gets it back from Doughty because Wolves have closed down the space on that left-hand side now. Diagonal ball from Lockyer, seeking out Kabori. What a pass! Fully 60 yards. Kabori plays a 1-2 with Brown. Gets to the byline, it's a deep-looking cross. Might find Doughty, it's headed away by Lamina, and he had to make that header because Doughty was lurking behind. It is a throw to Luton on the far side, 20 gone, and their pressure continues.
Again, it's in the wide areas this time. It's on the right-hand side with Kabore. Get himself away from Neto. Gary O'Neill, the Wolves manager, has had a changeover. Wang Hee-chang's gone over to the right-hand side for Wolves, and Neto's come over to the left because of the prowess of Luton down their left-hand side, and Neto hasn't been doing his defensive duties.
Ball's out of play again. Another Luton throw. Ipswich 2, Blackburn 1. They come from behind Ipswich. Nathan Broadhead. Derby lead at Carlisle by a 1-0. James Collins. Notts County 1 up on Forest Green in League 2. Dan Crowley. Here's Lokonga down the left-hand side of the box. Bell leads it for Doughty. Drives it into the near post, and it's turned behind by Lamina. It will not stop this pressure from Luton Town. They keep turning the screw. Can they turn it into a goal? 0-0.
It's absolutely relentless, Dance. Just come to 21 minutes played. It was Lamina doing a good job for Wolves there. Defensive duties at his near post. Just a corner for Luton over on their left-hand side. So Doherty will take it out swing with his left foot. Got to make sure he misses the front man.
There's 2 Wolves players screening the near post as Doughty takes the kick. It's flicked on by Brown to the 6-yard line. Half volleyed clear by Joao Gomez. What a tackle by Issa Kabore to stop Pedro Neto getting away. Neto now trying to pressurise Amari Bell, but he pirouettes away from Neto, moves into the Wolves half, loses out, but in steps Doughty, and Doughty just puts his foot through it and creams it into the Wolves fans behind the goal at the Oak Road end. Goal kick to Wolves, 0-0 on Talksport 2. Blackpool lead Reading by a 1-0 in League 1. Jordan Rhodes, the evergreen Jordan Rhodes with a penalty. Fleetwood equalise at Burton. Junior Quitiana making it 1-1 at the Pirelli. Goal kick taken short for Wolves, and Jose Sarr will clear right-footed up to the halfway line, but Lockyer gets in there with a header instead of Matthias Cunha, but then Cunha will track back into his own half, taking Lockyer with him, works it up to the halfway line. Bayagard, he runs into Lockyer this time, and Luton are just winning all the first or second balls here, Perry Groves. They're just out-battling Wolves in every department.
We just saw it there when it comes to Bayagard. There was 2 Wolves players, Luton players around him, Nakamba and Lokonga. You can tell that Rob Edwards has said to his Luton players that he wants to make sure that they create the pressure, whether it's on the ball, without the ball. Without the ball, they've been absolutely outstanding because they've won every 50-50, every knockdown and on the ball they've been very, very good down the left-hand side, even though that time it's just run out of play and Ogbene couldn't quite get himself on the end of it. But it's been very, very impressive, Dance, and it was this first 23 minutes from Luton Town. What happens is, Dance, when you're in on top as much as what Luton are, you have to make sure that you take advantage and you get yourself that goal just to set yourselves down a little bit.
Wolves are on the ropes, but they've not gone down yet. It's 0-0 on Talksport 2, 23 minutes gone, so we're a quarter of the way through this Premier League encounter. Cambridge 0, Port Vale 1 in League 1. Ben Garrity gets his 4th of the season for the Valiants. Stockport 1, Wrexham 0, Isaac Olafe for the other Hatters. And Leyton Orient leads Shrewsbury back in League 1 by a goal to 0. Rul Sotiriou with his 4th of the season. Throw into Wolves on the far side, just inside the Luton half of the field. There's 2 balls in play at the moment, so one of them's going to have to be kicked off the pitch. And one of the ball boys on the far side will go and retrieve it so that Nelson Semedo can get this ball back into play. Just over the halfway line, right-hand side for Wolves, as they attack the Kenilworth end in this first half, away to our left-hand side. But Luton clear their lines again. Wolves are finding it difficult, Perry Groves, to get more than 2 or 3 passes together by and large. They've had one spell of decent passing, I seem to recall, in this opening quarter.
Yeah, I think what it is in midfield with Nakamba and Lokonga, they've dominated that area. Luton have dominated down their left-hand side, Wolves' right-hand side. We said because Semedo was getting himself overrun. So at the moment, Luton are winning all their little individual battles, but they haven't been able to take advantage.
Now Pedro Neto for Wolverhampton Wanderers, level with the edge of the Luton penalty area, tries to go on the outside of Kabore, gets the cross in, it's whipped across the face of goal, but nobody rushing in a turquoise Wolves shirt to get a touch, and so it goes out of play for a throw-in. It's currently Luton Town 0, Wolverhampton Wanderers 0. For the latest odds, head to William Hill, the official betting partner of TalkSport 2's Premier League coverage, where right now Luton to win are 8-5, it's 9-5 the draw, Wolves 21-10 to win. It's very, very narrow on the odds. That's all thanks to William Hill. Get epic value all season with William Hill. It's 18+. BeGambleAware.org is the website. Downfield from Craig Dawson, and Lockyer will let it bounce, and Kaminsky will claim 0-0.
That was a proper havoc, wasn't it, from Craig Dawson? But we're lucky enough, Dan, she said, to be really close to the touchline over on this far side from where the Luton home fans are in the stand. And just there we saw Pedro Neto get the ball on his left foot, take on Kabore. He's gone past Kabore, got himself to the byline, he's crossed it in, and when you look round, Mateus Cunha, the Wolves centre-forward, Dance, is on the edge of the 18-yard box. So Wolves have got to get more players into the box when it gets to the wide areas, because that was their best chance they've had, and we've played 26 minutes.
It's a real conundrum for Gary O'Neill and his team, including Sean Derry, TalkSport 2 pundit. They have to solve this. Harrogate 2-0 upon Salford, now in League 2. Sam Follerin. Charlie White gets his 6th goal of the season to equalise for Wigan at Bristol Rovers 1-1. And Grimsby 1, Crawley 0. Gavin Holohan for the Mariners. And Ipswich 3-1 up now on Blackburn. George Hurst with the 3rd for the Tractor Boys. Beauregard for Wolves at 0-0 on TalkSport 2. 26 minutes gone. Ian Danter and Perry Groves with you. Faker Others here too, sitting on our hands, trying not to betray too much emotion. But here come Wolves with Hwang down the right-hand side, looking for Semedo. He's up against Chidozie Ogbene, back doing some defensive duty, almost for the first time in the game. He allows Semedo to get the cross in, but that's come to be claimed at the near post by Thomas Kaminsky, who arrived from Blackburn in the summer. Yet to keep a clean sheet since his £2.5 million move. Made over 100 appearances for Rovers. Was player of the season in his first year there, when he arrived in the midst of the COVID restrictions in 2020. He clears right-footed downfield, Kaminsky, looking for Jacob Brown to get the flick on, but Kilman for Wolves got the header clear, drifts out of play on this near side for a throw to Luton Town. Newport 0, Bradford 2 now. Rayan Tulloch with a 2nd for Bradford down at Rodney Parade in League 2. And the throw for Luton finds Lokonga, who has to loft the ball up in the air to keep it away from a couple of Wolves players. Drops on halfway. Lockyer lobs it into the Wolves half of the field. Headed back to the halfway line, but Reece Burke has it this time. Bypasses Lockyer and finds Amari Bell, another former Blackburn player in this Luton side, as with Kaminsky. Plays a 1-2 with Doughty and tried to get away down the Luton left, but it was intercepted by Semedo. Throw, though, to Luton down the far left-hand side of the field, midway point of the Wolves half of the field, attacking the Oak Road end Luton in this first half on Talksport 2. 0-0. And it's Doughty darting in field from that left-hand side. Gets into the area, tries to hit the crossing. Lamina there again to block. He's done that a number of times to try and repel Luton attacks down that left-hand side. And then some neat football sees Wolves bring it clear. Cunha inside his own half. Now releases Neto. Neto will now scamper away down the left-hand side. Ait Nouri on the overlap. Ait Nouri now receives it. Dead ball line. Puts it across the face of goal, and Reece Burke is there to divert it behind somewhat awkwardly for what is Wolves' first corner of the game on 28 minutes. 0-0.
Yeah, it's Wolves' best pass movement of the game, Dance, starting in their own right-hand side of their 18-yard box from Mina, just getting into Cunha. Cunha out to his left-hand side to Pedro Neto, and Ait Nouri on the overlap, getting himself to the byline, crossing it in. Really good defending from Burke at the near post. Corner for Wolves on their left-hand side.
At the Kenilworth end, so a left-footed out-swinger just down beneath us to come from Pedro Neto. In it comes, into the near post, headed out by Jacob Brown, the first defender. Retrieved, though, by Wolves. Nobody was on halfway in a Luton shirt, so Joao Gomez feeds it out to this near touchline, and Neto once more. He's got Doughty facing him up, who's come over to the Luton right-hand side. Infield it goes to Beauregard, clipping into the area, and Carlton Morris gets a call from his keeper, ducks under the ball very cleverly, and it goes behind for a goal kick to the Hatters. Blackpool 2, Reading 0 in League 1. Killian Kouassi with a second for Blackpool. Swansea 1, Sheffield Wednesday 0. Both without a league win, remember, in the Championship. But Jamal Lowe has put Swansea in front from the penalty spot. And Bristol Rovers 2, Wigan 1, Jack Hunt. You do have to say that name very carefully. More live football for you tonight. Burnley, Manchester United, 8 p.m. on Talksport. Sam Matterface and Mickey Gray. And we've got 2 championship games for you tomorrow from noon. Our coverage starts at 11:45. We've got Stoke City against Hull City from the Bet365 with Nigel Adderley and former Wolves keeper Matt Murray. And then Sunderland against Cardiff City. Faye was there last night watching England Lionesses win in the Nations League against Scotland. But it's Sunderland Cardiff City at 3 o'clock tomorrow live on Talksport 2. Mark Wilson and Neil Redfern, former Leeds manager, will be your commentary team. And then we've got a whole load of NFL stuff for you tomorrow. 3 games back-to-back from the NFL. Sunday from 5 o'clock on Talksport 2 with Nat Coombs and the team. Patriots at the Jets, Bears at the Chiefs, and the Eagles at the Buccaneers, if NFL is your thing. Miles Leaburn, son of Carl Leaburn, puts Charlton ahead against Wickham in League 1. And Harrogate 2, Salford 1. Curtis Tilt gets one back for Salford at Wetherby Road. Luton have won a throw in their right-back position. 3-0 to Bradford as well, by the way, at Newport. Andy Cook has his second of the afternoon for the Bantams. You're up to date on Talksport 2. Half an hour gone in our Premier League commentary. The first of 2 exclusive Premier League commentaries across the network today. And it's 0-0. But I don't quite know, Perry Groves, how it is still 0-0.
Well, especially when you think that Carlton Morris had that rasping drive, didn't he, from 25 yards that crashed against Jose Sar's left-hand post. So the first 26, 27 minutes, it's been all Luton Town. The game sort of settled down a little bit now. It's got a little bit more even, where Wolves are trying to get themselves a foothold into the game. But
well, here's an important player for Wolves in Lamina, who can set play up. Plays it out to the right wing, and Hwang moving into the Luton half. Semedo on the overlap, taking Bell with him. Early ball into the box, and it was cleared by Reece Burke and helped out by Doughty. And Burke had to make that because Mateus Cunha was right behind Reece Burke if he'd not made that clearance. Doughty plays the ball back to the corner of his own penalty area, and Amari Bell will bring it clear for Luton. But then he's given the ball away. Lamina snaps into a challenge with Lokonga, comes out to Ait Nouri, is driving towards the edge of the area, plays it out to the Wolves left wing and Pedro Neto. Neto faced up by Kabore, goes infield to Ait Nouri, strokes the ball back to Joao Gomez. Morecambe 1, Swindon 1, Jake Taylor for Morecambe. Abo Issa has put Grimsby 2-0 up against Crawley. Blackpool 3, Reading 0, Jordan Rhodes with another. And Hartlepool lead at Dagenham and Redbridge in the National League. You're listening to Talksport 2. Ian Dancer and Perry Groves and Faye Carruthers with you this bright sunny Saturday afternoon in Bedfordshire. Luton Town 0, Wolverhampton Wanderers 0. Wolves with possession on the halfway line. Kilman feeds it into the feet of Pedro Neto, but he's got Cabore at his back, couldn't turn and get the ball away. Stockport 2, Wrexham 0. Isaac Olafe gets his second of the afternoon for Stockport at Edgeley Park. Wolves still got the ball in their own half, and they've had to go back to their goalkeeper Jose Sarr, but they seem to have ridden out the storm in these past few minutes, it seems, Perry Groves.
Yeah, just starting to get themselves on the ball a little bit more with Lamina and Gomez in that midfield area. Just seems like Luton to get their second win, see if they can go again.
Well, it's Cabore sliding in Jacob Brown down the Luton right, but it's well defended by Max Kilman. He put himself between the ball and Jacob Brown and just let the ball trickle behind for a goal kick to Wolverhampton Wanderers. Just one of 6 games against promoted sides last season, Wolves. That was one of the problems they had. They couldn't put the teams away that had come up to join them. They drew all 3 of their away games against promoted sides last season. Grimsby 2, Crawley 1. Crawley get a goal back at Blundell Park through Liam Kelly. That's in League 2. Here in the Premier League it's 0-0. Wolves have taken a goal kick, but Luton Town won it back. Alfie Doughty down the far left-hand side of the field, which is in shade. In front, that main stand is throwing a bit of shade onto that far left-hand side of the field. Luton attacking the Oak Road end in this first half, but there's only 11 minutes plus added time of this first half to come. Kaminski, the Luton goalkeeper, floats the ball downfield, looking for Jacob Brown to win the header. Cabore tries to step in front of Ait Nouri. He's hurt himself, so too is Ait Nouri. In fact, there's 2 Luton players down, and the referee stops play so that one or both can get treatment. You're listening to Luton 0, Wolves 0 on Talksport 2 with Now. Don't forget that with Now, you can stream all of the Sky Sports action like Brentford, Everton, live today for £11.99. No contract. Search Now Sports for all the details. It's Brown and Cabore that are down hurt, and both of them are just writhing around, but both are going to get up without the physios attending to them, because we shouldn't forget now, Perry Groves, if you get attended to by a physio, you've then got to wait 30 seconds before you line back on
again. Exactly. It's amazing how quickly you can recover, Dan, isn't it, when you think you're going to leave your team down to 10 men. The first one with Brown was just the coming together with Dawson, just accidental as Johnson just lifts his arms up to win the head up, sits in a natural position, and Brown just sort of headed the end of his elbow.
Stockport 3, Wrexham 0. Louis Barry for Stockport. Wrexham, remember, 4 straight league wins, and they've been very good away from home so far, Wrexham, but there's always goals in their games. You wouldn't bet against 3-3, 5-3, 6-8, whatever. Could be a tight signature.
It's Louis Barry's 6th goal in his last 6 league games. He only got 6 all last season.
That, I would wager, is still not your pointless stat of the afternoon.
No, I think you mention the Carlisle against Derby? Was Derby 1-0 up, did you say?
I did. James Collins with a penalty.
Yeah, that's the George Orwell game. It's the first meeting since 1984.
Oh, love it. Chidozie Ogbene for Luton down the left-hand side of the area. Gives it back to Alfie Doughty. He tried a drive, and there was Semedo right in front of him, so he blocked it, and it ricocheted eventually through to the goalkeeper Jose Sarr. Plymouth have got a second against Norwich. 2-0 to the Pilgrims. Dan Scarr up from the back to put Plymouth 2-0 up. Crawley have equalised at Grimsby. It's now 2-2 at Blundell Park. Ronan Darcy and Omar Bogle gets a goal back for Newport at home to Bradford. That's Newport 1, Bradford 3.
Dan says my inane stat of the day.
Can't wait.
Plymouth 2, Norwich 0.
Yeah.
It's 17 years ago to the day that Plymouth played Norwich at Home Park, and Plymouth won that game 3-1.
Wow. I mean, I just applaud that. It's what we live for.
That's it. I'm done. My work here is done. More
nuggets like that during the Sunday session tomorrow, don't forget, because Perry's going to be at the North London derby feeling like he's having his teeth taken out with Arsenal against Tottenham. One of 5 Premier League games tomorrow. Regular updates throughout the afternoon with Sam and Perry and Crookie and the team. Whilst there's a foul there by Joao Gomez on Albert Lokonga just shy of the halfway line. Fans around us baying for a yellow card, which isn't going to be issued by referee Josh Smith. Instead, it'll be a free kick to Luton Town. Is Rob Edwards going to be a bit gutted if Luton go in 0-0 here at half-time, Perry?
Yeah, I think he will, because Luton have been the best side by far in this first half. Wolves haven't really been a threat going forward. I think they've had one cross from Pedro Neto from this left-hand side where Cunha was just left himself looking at the edge of the 18-yard box. So he'll be delighted, Rob Edwards, by the way that his team was played, especially down their left-hand side with Doughty and Ogbene. But he will be a little bit disappointed. They haven't just had that final pass, that little bit of quality in the final third, just to punish Wolves.
Rotherham 1, Preston 0 in the Championship. Preston unbeaten, but they're behind to a Jordan Hugill goal. Now Tom Lockyer has been caught off the ball by Beauregard, and they're surrounding. Carlton Morris is suggesting that there was a stamp by Beauregard on Tom Lockyer, and the referee is going to send off Beauregard. A straight red card for the man freshly arrived at Wolverhampton Wanderers from Strasbourg for a stamp on Tom Lockyer, and Wolverhampton Wanderers are going to play the rest of this game with 10 men. 0-0 the score.
Well, to be fair, Dance, referee Josh Smith, he must have seen it, because we're watching Wolves just attacking down their right-hand side with Semedo, and Tom Lockyer goes in for a challenge with Beauregard. Tom Lockyer has the ball, Beauregard challenges him. They're both on the floor, they've got a tangle of legs.
It's very hard to see with the sunshine on our monitors, but
it's a tangle of legs, and then it's ridiculous from Beauregard, because he's just lashed out at Tom Lockyer, who's on the floor, and it's his right foot with studs has caught Tom Lockyer in his thigh. Just ridiculous.
Lockyer's back on his feet and doesn't need any treatment, and I'll take it VAR will take a look and rubber stamp this decision on behalf of referee Josh Smith. They're just checking it back at Stockley Park. The VAR today is John Brooks back at Stockley Park, being assisted by Akil Howson. So they're checking the red card. It's gone up on the Jumbotron screen.
It's not going to be overturned, Dance, because it is a lash out from Beauregard. So it's a tangle of legs. They're trying to free themselves from each other.
Yeah, he was waiting, Beauregard, by the tunnel to see whether he might get a reprieve. But Jean-Risner Beauregard is off for Wolves. He's now disappeared down the tunnel opposite us. And the upshot of all that is that the noise levels have gone up about 20 decibels. And Luton have a free kick just shy of the halfway line. 0-0.
Right, Dance, it was absolutely ridiculous from Beauregard, because he'd won the ball initially from Tom Lockyer, so they're both on the floor, they've got a tangle of legs, they're trying to free themselves from each other, and then Beauregard just lashes out, and it's with his studs of his right foot, where he just smashed it into Lockyer. Lockyer's made the most of it, but to be fair to Josh Smith, doesn't have any choice but to send him off.
Well, Dawson's just forced Jose Sarr to hurriedly put the ball out of play for a Luton Town throw. 5 to half time. Will Luton be able to take advantage of this man advantage for the rest of the game, maybe even before half time? Wolves have got a lot of defending to do for the rest of the game, you sense. Lokonga playing the ball down the right hand side, looking for the overlapping run of Issa Kabore, but it's overhit and goes behind for a Wolves goal kick. Macaulay Langstaff has scored a second for Notts County at home to Forest Green. That's 2-0 at Meadow Lane. Sutton lead MK Dons by a goal to 0. 7 straight lead defeats for Sutton, but Omar Sarumni has put Sutton ahead. And Taylor Allen's been sent off for Walsall in their home game with Wimbledon for serious foul play. They're already 1-0 down, Walsall at home to AFC Wimbledon. And Hibs 1, St Johnstone 0 in the Scottish Premiership this afternoon. Earlier today, Celtic won by 3 goals to 0 at Livingston, despite Joe Hart being sent off in the first half for Celtic. Back underway with 3.5 minutes of normal time to go in this first half. On Talksport 2, Wolves 0, Luton 0, 10-man Wolves 0. Now, Jacob Brown's been penalised for clambering all over Matthias Cunha, and Accrington Stanley are down to 10 men in League 2. They're at Tranmere this afternoon. They're a goal down, and J-Rich Bagaloo's been sent off for violent conduct, and Tranmere are already 1-0 up in that game at Prenton Park. Carlton Morris giving chase downfield. Jose Sarr, the Wolves keeper, comes to the edge of his penalty area and thumps the ball clear. Neto on halfway, trying to spin away from Amari Bell, but Bell wins the ball and clips it down the left-hand side. He was trying to get Ogbene away, but the ball just drifted in the field. Oh, Dawson passed it straight beyond his goalkeeper, and Ogbene was nearly in, but Saar and Dawson were rescued by Max Kilman, and now Dawson and Saar are having a set two in their own 6-yard box. It means it's a Luton corner at the far end, the Oak Road end, 0-0.
Just total lack of communication between Craig Dawson and Jose Saar. Jose Saar comes running out towards Craig Dawson, and Craig Dawson saying to him, why are you sprinting towards me? Just give me a better angle. Stay about 15 yards away from me. Craig Dawson plays it where he thinks he's playing it, rolling back to his goalkeeper, and he's standing beside him. He said there, Max Kilman read it really well and managed to snuff out the danger. Corner for Luton over on the left-hand side.
Which Lokonga is going to take where it meets the main stand at the Oak Road end. Right-footed in, swing it into the near post, into the 6-yard line. It was volleyed away by Kilman. Neto's giving chase and will get there first, but Kabore and Lockyer between them win the ball back for Luton Town, and it's sent all the way back to Thomas Kaminski. 2 minutes of the first half to go, plus whatever Josh Smith wants to add on, and there have been 1 or 2 stoppages in this first half, notably the check for that red card issued to Beauregard just a moment ago. High foot from Rhys Burke against Joao Gomez gives Wolves a free kick just shy of the halfway line, and it's taken quickly by Lamela, trying to get Pedro Neto in. Neto inside the area, taking it away from Amari Bell. Back comes Tom Lockyer and just takes it away from Neto as he was about to pull the trigger 8 yards out. 0-0.
Brilliant defending from Tom Lockyer. It looked like Neto got the better of Amari Bell, just cutting in onto his left-hand side. Beat Amari Bell, and there was Tom Lockyer, Amari Bell's defensive partner, just nicking it off of his toe, just putting it back to Kaminski and getting the ball back for Luton, and have it in Wolverhampton Wanderers half.
Last minute of the first half, 0-0 on Talksport 2. Amari Bell for Luton Town, who have this man advantage then if you're just tuning in. John Risner-Bellegarde sent off 6 minutes from half-time for a stamp on Tom Lockyer. Burke up to the right-hand corner of the penalty area. Brown looks to hold it up, gives it back to Rhys Burke. Kabore is on this near side too for the Hatters, working really hard to try and keep the ball away from Ait Nouri, but Ait Nouri's not giving it up, in fairness to the Wolves left back, but it is a throw to Luton Town. Elsewhere, Bolton 0, Peterborough 1, Johnson Clark Harris with his 4th of the season for the Posh to put them ahead, and Middlesbrough equalise against Southampton at the Riverside. Riley McGree, the Australian, makes it 1 apiece on Teesside, and the board is about to go up down beneath us, and I think it says 5. Indeed it does. 5 minutes of minimum stoppage time at the end of this first half, with the score at 0-0. Wolves in possession on halfway with Mario Lamina. Tried to fire it into the feet of Hwang on the far touchline, but he couldn't keep hold of it, and it's gone out of play for a throw. Noticeable that Gary O'Neill has decided not to make a personnel change despite going down to 10. You see that a lot, don't you, Perry Groves, sometimes, but not here, at least not yet.
Yeah, well, he's just gone like a 4-4-1 formation. Just Neto playing up front of his own. Cunha's just dropped back, obviously, into that midfield area.
Well, there's a yellow card coming for Joao Gomez for a heavy challenge on Kabore as he motored down the Luton right-hand side. So Gomez gets the yellow card, and Luton will have the free kick about 4 or 5 yards in from this near touchline, and about 20 yards from the dead ball line at the Oak Road end. 0-0.
Yeah, it's just a needless challenge, as said there, from Gomez. As he slid along the floor, he's got his studs up. Kabore just knows he's coming, just nicks it past him. Manages to ride the challenge actually down because he knows it's coming, so there's no serious injury there for Kabore. That's a really dangerous position. Free kick for Luton, just about 5 yards in from the touchline on this right-hand side, where Sambi Lukonga will whip it in with his right foot.
The Arsenal low knee standing over it, right-footed in-swinger to come from Lukonga. Wolves holding their line around the penalty spot, whipped in by Lukonga, headed out by Hwang. Kabore will get to the ball first for Luton. 1-1 between Bolton and Peterborough. Victor Adebayo gets what is his 5th of the season for Bolton to get them level. And here's Alfie Doughty for Luton, finding Carlton Morris, left-hand corner of the penalty area. He's come closest of all in this first half to breaking the deadlock. Doughty again, left wing, gets a really good cross in. Jacob Brown at the far post, brilliant defending by Ait Nouri. Had to make that header, but it's still with Luton on the right-hand side. Burke with a deep cross, hooked away by Semedo. It'll drop for Lukonga. who's got support from Amari Bell. Left-hand corner of the box. Lukonga urged to shoot, goes for goal, and it's straight at Sarr, and he deals with it very comfortably in the Wolves goal, and it stays 0-0 on Talksport 2.
Dance, that was unbelievable defending from Ain't Nori. Brilliant ball in from Doughty on the left-hand side. Looks like Jacob Brown is just going to tap it in on the volley, and Ain't Nori just makes sure he's a diving header, Dance, and he's like an owl there because he's actually twisted his neck round, looked like 360 degrees, didn't it, and managed to get the ball away.
He's definitely a wolf, not an owl. Here's Mateus Cunha for Wolves over halfway. Feeds it into Joao Gomez. Semedo, he's got two Luton players converging on him, and Nakamba nearly took the ball off him. Rotherham 1, Preston unbeaten in the Championship, equalised with Liam Lindsay at the New York Stadium right on half-time. We've played 3 minutes of the minimum 5 that Josh Smith has added on here at Kenilworth Road. Luton 0, Wolves 0. Wolves down to 10 after that straight red card for Bayagard about 6 minutes before the break. Here's Kaminski, finds Amari Bell. Perry Groves alongside me. You spotted something, Pell.
Well, no, what I'm thinking of, Rob Edwards, obviously they've got the extra man. Is he going to be brave at half-time? Because I don't think you need 3 centre-halves now. I think you should be going 4-4-2, maybe bring Adebayo on to put him up front with Carlton Morris, get as many balls into the box as you can, so it'd be interesting to see if he does take one of the centre-halves off.
Lukonga just shy of the halfway line for Luton, plays the ball along the deck to Carlton Morris, who's trying to release Jacob Brown down the right-hand side of the box. He got there ahead of Nori and wins a corner kick for Luton right at the end of the half. 0-0.
Yeah, looks like it's going to be Samuel Lukonga just to come over on this right-hand side, take it with his right foot out swinging.
It will indeed be an outswinger.
Wolves go zone along the 6-yard box with Dawson and Kilman in the middle of that 6-yard box. With Semedo on the near post.
In it comes from Lukonga into the near post and was hooked away by Cunha. And in fact the ball had gone out of play from Albert Lukonga, so it would be a Wolves goal kick. Plymouth 3, Norwich 0 now. Morgan Whittaker gets his second. I saw Norwich get beat by Leicester in the week for Talksport 2 at Carrow Road. Back-to-back defeats looming for David Wagner. Portsmouth 2, Lincoln 1. Portsmouth unbeaten in League 1 are in front now. They were behind Regan Poole. And there's more Championship action on Monday night live on Talksport 2. Darren Moore's first game in charge of Huddersfield at Coventry. I'll be there with David Nugent. 8 o'clock kickoff on Talksport 2, your home of the EFL. Also your home of exclusive Premier League commentaries like this. The 5 minutes of minimum stoppage time is gone, and the referee blows the whistle for half-time. And Luton go in at the break, goalless against Wolverhampton Wanderers, but it's not been for the want of trying from Rob Edwards' side. They have really worked hard. Carlton Morris with a right-footed effort that beat Jose Sarr, but smacked against the upright and came out. Luton dominated certainly the opening 25 to 30 minutes. Wolves were just settling in the game, and then a straight red card for John Risner Bayagard 6 minutes from the end of the 45 for a stamp on Tom Lockyer. Pedro Neto has got plenty to say to referee Josh Smith as the players come off for the break. But Luton Town will play the rest of this game with a man advantage, it seems, against Wolves. Can they make it count? At the break on Talksport 2, it is still Luton Town 0, Wolverhampton Wanderers 0.
The stats are incredibly interesting, not so much so if you're a Wolverhampton Wanderers fan. 0 shots. They've literally given nothing in this game, and Gary O'Neill is going to have one heck of a half-time team talk.
Very much so, because it's been Luton, relentless pressure from Luton Town. As said Faye in the commentary, there was first to every knockdown, every 50-50, getting the ball into the wide areas. And we know how well Luton are playing is how many times that you're clapping, because you was clapping all the way through that first half.
I can't.
We'll get the peek behind the curtain here,
I'm
aren't
really
we?
sorry. Dance did say she's sitting on her hands, but I thought, I can't. I'm sorry.
No, and you can understand, obviously, everyone knows you're a Luton Town fan, Faye, and they've been very impressive in this first half, especially down the left-hand side, where for Alfie Doughty, Amari Bell and Ogbonna have been outstanding.
Well, they were the two changes, Doughty and Ogbene, and I knew that they would work well down the left, and that's where they're getting the most joy. And you mentioned it in commentary that Gary O'Neill switched over Pedro Neto and Hwang, who's barely touched the ball, but has done a slightly better job on the left-hand side than Neto was doing.
Yeah, because Neto doesn't want to do the defensive side. And say Doughty was doing overlaps probably like 40-50 yards, and Neto was just letting him. I felt a bit sorry for Semedo, actually, because he was getting outnumbered 2v1s.
Yeah.
And it's just as well in Luton can get that little bit of quality into the 18-yard box. We had a brilliant chance. Well, it wasn't a chance really, it was Colton Morris who just made his own chance, didn't he, from 25 yards.
What a shot that was.
Yeah, he's actually dipped inside Lamina with his left foot, got it onto his right foot, and I must admit, from the angle we were on, I thought it was going to nest in Joseph Sal's top left-hand corner, and he just smacked against the post, came out.
Hit the post and the crossbar at that junction, didn't it? I thought it was going to break it in half. He hit it with such venom. We need to talk about the sending off. I mean, I saw it in real time, and I saw him use his studs, and I thought that's violent conduct straight off. That has to be a red. There had been a tangle. He'd actually made a brilliant tackle just beforehand. Bellegarde got the ball, but then just couldn't leave it, and that shows a little bit of naivety. First time he's playing in the Premier League, having signed from Strasbourg, and he knows that that's not the right thing to do.
Yeah, I knew it was a sending off fake because I looked to my right hand side and you was admonished in the imaginary red card.
Listen,
and pointing him on his way.
I have meetings with PGMOL. I do not do that. I should not be sent off from the gantry.
But what you said, it was just completely needless because Bellegarde actually made a decent tackle on Lockyer, and he nicked the ball away, and then had a tangle leg. When you just, it's a bit of 6-1 after the other, like trying to get themselves free from each other. But then he's lashed out. He's stamped with his studs and caught Lockyer in his thigh. Lockyer obviously makes the most of it and pretends, that he's had his leg chopped off, which you're going to do. And to be fair to Josh Smith, the referee, who I think's refereed the game, I think Dan should, it's only his second Premier League game, isn't it?
No, it's been very good.
He's been very good. He's tried to let the game flow. And he must have been watching the play as it went down on Wolves' right-hand side, and he must have just seen it out the corner of his eye, because I must admit, we were following the ball dance, weren't we? And we didn't see it. And he didn't wait. He could have waited. The referee, actually, to be fair to him, he could have waited, couldn't he, for VAR? But he didn't. He actually said, no, that's a straight red. And then when we saw what Bellegarde had done, then we knew straight away, 100% it was the right decision. Now, from Luton's point of view, as impressive as it had been in the first half, you said there with Wolves, no shots on target at all, no shots on goal. Is Rob Edwards now going to be brave and take advantage of the extra man? Because I don't think that you need your three centre-halves now. If it was me, I'd go 4-4-2. What
I think he'll potentially do is just push Amari Bell a bit further forward, because they don't tend to play with four at the back, and he's not going to want to upset things too much, and they're playing really well as it is. But we'll certainly see. So 0-0 here at Kenilworth Road. Wolves down to 10 men, as Perry was saying there. But let's look ahead to tonight's Premier League action with Now Sports.
Stay ahead of the game on Talksport 2 with Now. Stream all the Sky Sports action like Brentford vs Everton live today for $11.99. No contract. Search Now Sports. 18 plus. Stream via internet. Terms apply.
So Brentford against Everton is the 5:30 kickoff at the G-Tech Community Stadium. Talksport Sam Ellard is going to be watching. How you doing, Sam?
I'm very, very good, Faye. You remain neutral. Don't listen to them having a go. I've got no doubt that you're remaining cool, calm and collected watching the game this afternoon.
I try my hardest.
You're a professional, Faye.
Of course. It's very difficult watching your own team working, and I'm much better when I'm doing in-match reports, if I'm honest, than I am when I'm sitting here hosting. How are you looking forward to Brentford-Everton today? Everton, another team in desperate need of some points.
Yeah, it's been a tough start to the season for Everton, hasn't it? 1 point from their first 5 games, and before the Arsenal game on the weekend, games against Fulham, Villa, Wolves, Sheffield United, perhaps not the most challenging on paper. I think this season for Everton, Faye, is going to follow a similar pattern to the last couple of seasons. I think it's going to be a real slog for them. They struggled last season, and they, for me, didn't sign enough in the summer, haven't brought in enough quality. I think there's a lack of goals, of course. They'll look once again to Dominic Calvert-Lewin, who returned from injury last weekend. There'll be so much pressure on him to deliver, as well as the new signing Beto. But you know what, Faye, I watched the game last Sunday against Arsenal, and obviously Arsenal, as you know, one of the best teams in this league, but it just felt so flat at Goodison Park. Normally, if Everton, from fighting relegation, battling top 4 like they were many years ago, the place was always rocking. Everything seemed just so flat last weekend, Faye, and I think that just sort of sums up where Everton are at the moment.
Yeah, they're in desperate need of some points, and of course we know what Brentford can do in particular. Where are the goals coming from today?
Yeah, for Brentford, well, do you know what? I think Brentford's season's been pretty inconsistent. It's been solid, but not spectacular. Started well, a good win at Fulham, but some tough, I think, disappointing home draws here against Bournemouth and Palace. They're normally so good here. Some real sad news for Brentford this week. That Rico Henry's likely to miss the remainder of the season after sustaining a knee injury last weekend against Newcastle. He's been so good for them. To be fair, do you know what, Faye? You ask about the goals. I think a lot of people may be worried for Brentford when Ivan Toney was going to miss a lot of football, but I actually think Invissa and Mbeumo have really come to life this season. Without Toney, they've got Kevin Schade, who is, I think, a real player to watch. He's quick and dangerous. He scored his first goal for the club a couple of weeks ago. So I actually think in Toney's absence, Faye, that they're coping up top maybe a lot better than perhaps myself and a lot of other people thought they would.
Yeah, most definitely. Enjoy the game today, Sam.
Thank you, and you, Faye. Good luck.
Thank you very much. That was a look ahead to this afternoon's Premier League action. Don't forget, with Now Sports, you can stream all the Sky Sports action like Brentford against Everton live today for £11.99. No contract. Just search Now Sports.
Stay ahead of the game on Talksport 2 with Now. Stream all the Sky Sports action like Brentford versus Everton live today for £11.99. No contract. Search Now Sports. 18 plus. Stream via internet. Terms apply.
If you can hear a very annoying whistling/alarm sound here at Kenilworth Road, we're as confused as you are. We have no idea where it's coming from. It might be an over-enthusiastic young fan underneath us with a whistle that's quite irritating and sounds like a mixture between a whistle and a vuvuzela. Who knows? Hopefully, by the time we kick off the second half, it will have gone, because it's literally piercing through my brain currently. So I don't know what it must feel like for you guys at home as well. This is Game Day Live on Talksport 2. Half-time classified results coming up very shortly. And, of course, second half action from Luton against Wolves.
Talksport 2, official broadcast partner of the EFL.
Game day exclusive on Talksport 2 with Now. Stream all the Sky Sports action like Brentford versus Everton live today for £11.99. No contract. Search Now Sports. 18 plus. Stream via internet. Terms apply.
Screwfix Sprint delivers from store to door in 60 minutes or less. So, whatever the job, you can do it with less stalling and more soy, less drive time and more site time. So don't break your stride. Screwfix Sprint. Order now exclusively on a Screwfix app. £5 delivery charge, no minimum spend. Don't stop. Sprint. Conditions and geographical restrictions apply. Selected products.
Friend, for all of yourselves, we have all of your faves on Just Eat. From your wading through work self to your late night munchy self. Help those selves to a smooth Costa coffee latte. A perfect Domino's pepperoni passion. A freshly made Five Guys All-American cheeseburger. A classic Pizza Express American hot. And a delish McDonald's Big Mac. So take yourself from a 6 to a 9.9. We got it.
Did somebody say Just Eat?
Subject to availability and store opening times. Service charges and other charges apply. See justeat.co.uk for more details.
We all fantasize about our perfect home. Sipping a morning coffee out on the terrace. Good morning, Mr. Squirrel.
Morning.
The kids building a treehouse in the garden.
I'm living my perfect childhood.
But come on, this isn't real. Listen, if you're serious about making your fantasy a reality, find out what your home is worth instantly with a free online valuation estimate. Get real about moving. Get on the market. Most common time to obtain an online quote between 1st of June 2022 and 30th of September 2022 is under 3 minutes. Excludes Northern Ireland.
With the transfer window closed, it's now properly game on. Get the ultimate football coverage with the Sun's free pull-out goals. With the best writers pitchside for in-depth match reports, it's all about goals. And with unrivaled news from the Premier League to League Two, it has to be goals. Stay up to date on all the latest football action. Get your free copy of Goals every Saturday, Sunday and Monday only in the Sun.
The Monopoly game is back at McDonald's. And guess what? It's still twice as nice. Because with double peel, you can peel on pack, then peel again on the McDonald's app to win prizes like brand new mini electrics, lovely McDonald's food, HP Omen gaming laptops, TUI holiday vouchers, £1,000 in cash, plus tons of other incredible prizes. 18 plus, UK only. Selected items subject to serving times and availability. End 17th of October. Gameplay and prize claims may require McDonald's app. See mcdrules.co.uk.
Talksport 2, official broadcast partner of the Premier League and the English Football League. Talksport 2, official broadcast partner of the Premier League.
This is Game Day.
Half-time classifieds.
This is Game Day Live on Talksport 2. I'm Faye Carruthers. Let's take a classified look on the half-time scores.
Premier League.
Crystal Palace 0, Fulham 0, Luton 0, Wolverhampton Wanderers 0, Manchester City 2, Nottingham Forest 0.
Sky Bet Championship.
Ipswich 3, Blackburn 1, Leeds United 0, Watford 0, Leicester 0, Bristol City 0, Middlesbrough 1, Southampton 1, Plymouth 4, Norwich 0, Rotherham 1, Preston 1, Swansea 1, Sheffield Wednesday 0, West Brom 0, Millwall 0.
Sky Bet League 1.
Blackpool 3, Reading 0, Bolton 1, Peterborough 1, Bristol Rovers 2, Wigan 1, Burton 1, Fleetwood 1, Cambridge United 0, Port Vale 1, Carlisle 0, Derby 1, Charlton 1, Wickham 0, Cheltenham 0, Stevenage 1, Leyton Orient 1, Shrewsbury 0, Northampton 0, Barnsley 1, Oxford United 1, Exeter 0, Portsmouth 2, Lincoln 1.
Sky Bet League 2.
Crewe 2, Colchester 0, Doncaster 1, Gillingham 1, Grimsby 2, Crawley 2, Harrogate 2, Salford 1, Mansfield 0-0 against Barrow, Morecambe 1, Swindon 1, Newport 1, Bradford City 3, Notts County 2, Forest Green 0, Stockport 3, Wrexham 0, Sutton 1, MK Dons 0, Tranmere 1, Accrington 0, Walsall 0, AFC Wimbledon 1.
The Vanarama National League.
Woking 1, York City 2 was a full-time result from earlier today. Oldham Athletic latest score 2-0 against Oxford City. Dagenham and Redbridge 0, Hartlepool 1, Solihull Moors 0, Bromley 0, Eastleigh 1, Kidderminster 1, Chesterfield 0, Wealdstone 1, Southend 0, Fylde 1, Dorking Wanderers 0, Rochdale 0, Barnet 0, FC Halifax Town 0, Boreham Wood 0, Aldershot 1, Altrincham 4, Ebbsfleet United 1, Gateshead 0, Maidenhead 0. And the players are back out here at Kenilworth Road ahead of this second half. Commentary coming from the dream team of former Arsenal winger Perry Groves and your match commentator Ian Danter.
Thanks, Faye. Yeah, no sign of any changes from the Luton side of things, but Wolves are making 2 changes, and Matt Doherty is coming on in his second Wolves spell, and so too is Toti Gomez. Hwang has gone off. We just need to see who the other player is that's been withdrawn. In fact, it's Ait Nouri that's gone off, so Semedo's still out there, so Hwang and Ait Nouri have been taken off by Gary O'Neill. Toti Gomez has gone into what looks like a back 3 that Wolves have got at the start of the second half. Remember, Wolves are down to 10 players, with Bayergard sent off in the first half. So Wolves with their turquoise change strip will be attacking the Oak Road end to our right, where the Wolves fans are in this second half. Luton in their orange and white shirts, orange socks and dark shorts. They're attacking the Kenilworth end that they love to do in the second half of games, attacking towards the Carruthers massive that's behind that goal to our left-hand side. And they're attacking straight away with Ogbenny into the area for Reece Burke. Tries to get the shot away, blocked by Craig Dawson. Claims for handball from those behind that goal, but Wolves bring the ball clear through Nelson Semedo.
Oh, that's a great chance for Ogbenny there. Left-hand corner of the 18-yard box. He got it onto his right foot, and he's actually decided that he's going to pass it inside to Reece Burke, the centre-half, where he should be shooting down. Just take responsibility.
Yeah. So Luton with Kaminsky in goal, Burke, Lockyer and Bell as the back 3. Kabore, Lokonga, Nakamba, Doughty in midfield. Ogbenny, Morrison, Brown up front. For Wolves now, it's Sarr in goal, Dawson, Kilman and Toti Gomez as a 3 at the back. And then you've got Semedo, Gomez, Lamina and Doherty in midfield. Cunha and Neto up front. Bayergard sent off 6 minutes before half-time. Foul on Semedo by Alfie Doughty, who just holds his hands up apologetically to the referee. So a free kick to Wolves just inside the Luton half of the field. Wolves conceded 11 in the Premier League so far. Only Burnley, who play later against Manchester United, live on Talksport at 8 p.m. Only Burnley have conceded more. A clear shirt pull by Carlton Morris on Max Kilman, then chops him down. Free kick for the original offence back in their own half, and Carlton Morris again lucky to escape a yellow card for that. Very lenient from referee Josh Smith.
Well, because actually he's hacked Max Kilman down from behind.
Yep.
And I think I'd rather see referee like that, Dance, to be honest. Don't try and let the game flow. Don't give out any unnecessary yellow cards. And you mentioned about Wolves there.
Given away to Carlton Morris, who's now motoring inside the Wolves half. Left-hand side of the area, Ogbene picks it up. Ogbene tries to lift it into Morris. Good save by Sarr. Instinctively just put his hands above his head and prodded the ball up in the air and caught it as it came back down from Carlton Morris's close-range header, 0-0.
Yeah, really good play down the left-hand side from Luton Dance. Ogbene just getting it onto his right foot, just chipping it into the near post. Carlton Morris getting himself across Max Kilman, a diving header. Unfortunately, for Luton's point of view, went straight at Jose Sarr.
You were about to say something then before Carlton Morris was breaking forward.
No, I just said about the 11 goals that Wolves have conceded.
Yep.
And 10 of those have been in the second half. So if you're Rob Edwards, you're saying to your Luton team, look, I know we've got the extra man, but now we've got to show a little bit of composure. You know, just take our time on the final pass, make that extra man count. Want to keep up the same intensity.
Is there any perception of a slightly different Luton shape in this second half, or is it as we were the 3-4-3 that we were talking about in the first half?
It's as we were. I've got to say, it's been quite brave from Gary O'Neill. Obviously, the Wolves manager, he's gone 3-4-2, so he's trying to keep Luton honest, so that so Wolves don't drop too deep with Mateus Cunha and Pedro Neto. You said just as the front two.
Yeah. Neto is now more central alongside Cunha. Here comes Amari Bell for Luton Town. Down the left-hand side, attacking the Kenilworth Road end to our left-hand side. Ogbene. Support from Alfie Doughty. Clips the ball in field. Nakamba can't get past the referee. And away comes Joao Gomez, launching a Wolves counter-attack. He's trying to play it out to the right-hand side for Pedro Neto, who's got the better of Tom Lockyer into the area. Neto! Wolves lead! The 10 men of Wolves hit the front, and Pedro Neto, who's been their man most likely all season, latched onto a long ball, skipped inside Lockyer into the area, and from a tight angle drove it home to take the acclaim of the Wolves fans behind that goal. They've been under so much pressure, but they're showing Luton Town just how merciless the Premier League can be. 4 minutes gone in the second half. It is Luton Town 0, Wolverhampton Wanderers 1.
Dance is really slack play from Luton in their left wing position. Doughty giving the ball away, comes to Gomez. It's a fantastic ball from Gomez with the outside of his right foot, just trying to bend it inside Tom Lockyer. And Pedro Neto looked like he had the legs on Lockyer. Lockyer maybe should be doing a little bit better using his body. In the end, it's Neto that just gets across him, gets it onto his left foot and absolutely smash it past Kaminski at his near post, gives him absolutely no chance. And we said about how brave Gary O'Neill was being, dancing with the Wolves manager, leaving 2 up front, and it's actually paid dividends. Wolves go 1-0 up.
Pedro Neto, such an important player for Wolverhampton Wanderers. Just 18 Premier League appearances last season. He was injured for the vast majority of the campaign, and how they missed him. That's why, because his goal has put them in front, and now the Wolves fans to our right are making their voices heard almost for the first time this afternoon on Talksport 2. Free kick given away as Reece Burke is fouled by Cunha over on the far side, and Luton have a chance to send the ball into the Wolves box and try to respond. Incidentally, Manchester City are still 2-0 up against Nottingham Forest, but Rodri's been sent off for violent conduct at the start of the second half at the Etihad.
Tex, I know we're not there, right? Your team were 2-0 up and you're cruising against Nottingham Forest. You're going to win your 13th home league game on the trot. Why would you get violent?
Nakamba for Luton Town, trying to get themselves back level, but his attended diagonal ball for Reece Burke is way overhit, and that goes out of play on the full for a goal kick to Wolverhampton Wanderers. So over to Rob Edwards now. Perry Groves, you would suggest he's got some thinking to do about maybe how he changes things up. Gary O'Neill's done it to terrific effect here.
Yeah, I think you have to put another forward on Dance. I know Faye said that he doesn't like to, mess with that 3 centre halves, but you've got to put another forward on now to try and get the impetus back. And we said about Luton having to be more composed in possession. 2 players made 2 massive mistakes there. First of all, it was Alfie Doughty giving the ball away, Dance, when Luton were attacking down the left-hand side. And then Tom Nokia, the Luton captain, he's got to do far better up against Pedro Neto.
Well, he looked favourite at first, didn't he?
Well, you know what, Dance? It looked like that Neto had the legs on him, but Lockyer got there first.
Yes.
And what he's got to do, he's got to lean and use his body and actually knock Neto out of his stride and off the ball, and he didn't. And then Neto was able to get across him.
Perry Groves alongside me, Ian Dancer. 52 minutes gone on Talksport 2. Luton 0, Wolves 1, Stockport 4, Wrexham 0. Isaac Olafe, I think that's a hat-trick for Olafe this afternoon at Edgeley Park. Apparently Rodri was sent off for grabbing Morgan Gibbs-White around the neck and pushing him to the ground. 2-0 to Manchester City it remains, though, at the Etihad. Adrian Durham and the team taking you around the grounds over on Talksport. Here on Talksport 2, our concentration is firmly on this game here, where 10-man Wolves are in front at Kenilworth Road against Luton Town. But here's Issa Kabore for Luton, level with the edge of the Wolves penalty area. Rolls it back to Reece Burke, looking for Jacob Brown to steam down the right-hand side of the box. Toti Gomez defends it well, but at the expense of a corner kick to Luton at the Kenilworth end. 1-0 Wolves.
You can hear the Kenilworth Road faithful Dance trying to get their team roused up, get themselves a little bit more aggressive, get them on the front foot. Corner for Luton over on their right-hand side.
Crew 2, Colchester 1. Samson Tavidi gets one back for Colchester. Perry shifts in his seat happily. Ipswich 3, Blackburn 2. Harry Clark with an own goal. He scored already for Ipswich today, but he's now got Blackburn back in it. 3-2 at Portman Road in the Championship. And Sutton 1, MK Dons 1. Alex Ghibli for MK. So Alfie Doughty with a corner kick, and pretty much the whole 6-yard area is packed with players. Only Nakamba, Neto and Kabore outside the 6-yard box. This is going to be a real fight ball as Doughty swings it into the near post, headed out by Semedo to the left-hand corner of the box, where it's picked up by Luton striker Carlton Morris. Tries to go on the outside of Toti Gomez, who brings him down, and a goal kick is given. As far as referee Josh Smith was concerned, Carlton Morris tried to buy that free kick, and so it's a goal kick to 10-man Wolves, who lead by a goal to 0 on Talksport 2.
Actually, Dance, I thought it was a foul, because it's like we're having virtual goggles on here, isn't it? We feel like we're on the pitch down this left-hand side. And I thought I was
looking at it.
I thought I was going to track back Carlton Morris myself there for a minute. I thought I was out of position, because as he went on the outside of Totti, I actually thought it was a foul, because Totti got his left foot across him. To be fair to Josh Smith, the referee, just wave play on.
Stays 1-0 to Wolverhampton Wanderers then. Nearly 10 minutes gone in the second half. Amari Bell for Luton on halfway. Nicks it to his left for Alfie Doughty. Quick ball in field for Ogbene, who's trying to get past Dawson. Skips past him with ease. Doughty's continued, but Ogbene goes for the byline. Has he gone over the dead ball line? I think he had before he tried to pull the ball back anyway. Nearly collides with the photographers behind the goal at the Kenilworth end, and it's a goal kick to Wolves. Blackpool 4, Reading 0. Jordan Rhodes, I think that could be a hat-trick for Jordan Rhodes. Solihull 0, Bromley 1 in the National League. Solihull unbeaten, but behind at the Armco to Ben Crowhouse. And Tranmere 2, Accrington 0, Accrington down to 10. And Josh Hawkes has got a second for Tranmere. Jan Songa's been sent off for Morecambe, second bookable offence. 2 lemons make a strawberry, and he's gone. And Notts County 2, Forest Green 1. Troy Deeney gets a goal back for Forest Green. And Wickham equalise at Charlton. That's 1-1 in League 1. Wolves 1-0 up and in possession down their right-hand side, the near side to us. And then there's a wrestling match going on between Amari Bell and Pedro Neto, and that's given us a free kick. And it did look like Amari Bell had a huge chunk of Pedro Neto, threw him to the floor. Free kick Wolverhampton Wanderers. It's going Gary O'Neill's way at the start of this second half. Changes afoot though for Luton Town, and Albert Lukonga is being withdrawn. It's light for light. Pelly Rhoda-Kampanzu, central midfielder, is going to come on to replace him. I'm sure you all know the story about Pelly Rhoda-Kampanzu, only player to have made that journey from non-league through to Premier League with the same club as he has since being here, well, pretty much a decade. Pelly Rhoda-Kampanzu. So he's on, like for like switch there, Perry.
Yep, just extra legs in the midfield area. So I still would like to see Rob Edwards put an extra forward on.
Free kick comes in and it's blocked on the line by Thomas Kaminski from Kilman. Dawson tries to send it back across the face of goal, but overhits the cross, and Rhys Burke just lumps it downfield. But Wolves will get there first as Swindon go in front at Morecambe. Charlie Austin with a penalty for Swindon. That's 2-1. Wolves send the ball downfield looking for Max Kilman, who stayed forward after that free kick, caused lots of problems in the Luton back line. Kaminski had to block from Kilman from a tight angle, and Kabori now slides the ball out of play for a Wolves throw. You're listening to Luton 0, Wolves 1 on Talksport 2 with Now. Don't forget that with Now you can stream all the Sky Sports action like Brentford versus Everton live today for £11.99. No contract, just search Now Sports for all the deets. And later tonight, Burnley Manchester United is live on Talksport, 8 o'clock kickoff. Faye's going to hot-foot it back to Talksport Towers, and Sam Matter facing Mickey Gray will be your commentary team. It's an 8 o'clock kickoff at Turf Moor. Bennett gets a huge shout of man on as Semedo tries to come in and close him down, and then overhit out of play by Nakamba for a throw to Wolves. 58 minutes played on Talksport 2. Luton 0, Wolves 1. Rob Edwards now out directing operations at the edge of his technical area just down beneath us. And it's going to be a throw for Wolves bang on halfway down beneath our commentary position as we sit, or at the moment as I stand, just to get a better view of Semedo putting the ball back into play from the bobber stand that we're sat in here. One back by Mateus Cunha. Now Joao Gomez finds Mario Lamina for Wolves. Out to their right-hand side, the near side to us. Neatly tucked in field by Semedo. And then down goes Neto under pressure from Alfie Doughty. Doughty's cleared the ball down this near side, and Craig Dawson gets there before Benny and lumps it back into Luton territory. It's all a bit scrappy at the moment, Perry Groves.
Yeah, actually, you have to say, Dan, I think Wolves have been better since they've been down to 10 men, haven't they? They've had a better shape.
Yep.
With Neto and Cunha playing up front. So Luton just need to have that little bit of composure when we're in possession, because they've got to make the most of that extra man, take that extra pass.
Here's Alfie Doughty, level with the Wolves penalty area. Finds Pelly Rudderkampantu across from 20 yards, playing into the centre of the half for Jacob Brown. He has to lay it off for Tom Lockyer. The Welshman gets his head up just ahead of the centre circle. Wolves have got everybody behind the ball. Rhys Burke, inside right position, plays the ball up to the right hand corner of the box for Pelly Rudderkampantu, who turns, gives the ball back to Burke, but Burke is being closed down by Joao Gomez, and Panzu takes over again. Nakamba now giving it back to Mpanzu, patient from Luton Town, but Wolves have got their defensive lineup settled.
That's when they're out of possession and they're defending the 18-yard box. Wolves just go like a flat back five.
Here's Pelly Rudderkampantu into the box, looking for Carlton Morris. Big touch from Kilman. Comes out to Doughty, whose drive just snaked over the angle of post and bar on the near side to us. And it's a goal kick to Wolves. They still lead 1-0. Bristol Rovers 3, Wigan 1. Aaron Collins, who was so vital to Bristol Rovers last season, he gets the goal. Harrogate 2, Salford 2. They were 2-0 down, Salford, but now it's 2-2. Matthias Smith for Salford. And a goal kick to Wolverhampton Wanderers. And they lead 1-0 despite being down to 10 men against Luton Town.
You're saying about Luton just taking that extra pass and being a little bit more composed. When it come out to Doughty on this left-hand side, Luton have got Brown, Morris, Benny in the box. Just make sure you just feed it in rather than taking a snapshot.
Morris finds Jacob Brown down the right-hand side of the area, cross into the near post, straight into the arms of Wolves goalkeeper Jose Sarr. That was good hold-up play from Carlton Morris that time. Just looking to see if there's any further changes afoot. Wolves and Luton substitutes down beneath us. Tahith Chong warming up for Luton, so too is Elijah Adebayo. Troy Deeney's got a second for Forest Green. It's 2-2 at Notts County now in League 2. Jacob Brown, good tenacious work from him. Here's Pelly Rudderkampantu on halfway, plays it left for Doughty, who can move into the Wolves half, encouraged by the Luton fans behind the goal to our left. Ogbene, early ball into the box, but that's a good claim by Jose Sarr, just coming out to his 6-yard line and claiming it. Carlton Morris and made the run to the far post. The ball went near. 1-0 Wolves.
It's the right idea from Ogbene, just trying to bend it with his left foot along the 6-yard box. Couldn't quite get enough whip on it, but Carlton Morris there, who said their dance is in the middle of the 6-yard box. You like to see him making a run across. See if he can get himself across the eye line of Jose Sarr.
Just over an hour gone on Talksport 2. Luton 0, Wolves 1. Pedro Neto with the only goal of the game, and a vital goal for a Wolves side who've been down to 10 men since 5 minutes before half-time. But here come Luton again. Lockyer diagonal ball onto the chest of Doughty, left-hand side of the box, plays it into the near post, and Sarr is there again for Wolves to clutch hold of the ball gratefully. Bowls it out underarm to try and get Mario Lemina away, but he's dispossessed. And here comes Nakamba up to Morris at the edge of the area, back to goal, under pressure from Kilman, finds Jacob Brown. Brown slips in Kabore, right hand side of the area. Kabore tries to drive, blocked behind, penalty, handball given against the Wolves player. Joe Gomez, the man who handled it, and Luton have a penalty at Kenilworth Road. It was very tight for Joao Gomez as Kabore hit the ball against him, but as far as Josh Smith was concerned, that's deliberate handball, penalty kick Luton Town.
Dance as it comes out to Kabore, he gets the ball onto his left foot, and you said there Gomez has gone over to close down. It's ricocheted off his left leg, and his hand is away from his body. To be fair to Josh Smith, he's got a really good view of it. Some people say it's really harsh, but I think in today's laws, Dance, it's going to be given, but you actually say where else can Gomez put his hands, because he's gone to close down, he's trying to keep his balance, and his right arm and his hand is up away from his body. Unfortunately for him, it's hit his hand.
VAR is checking the penalty for handball. They're looking at the same replays that Perry and myself and Faye and our producer Carl are looking at now, seeing repeated replays. Meanwhile, Carlton Morris just stands just inside the Wolves penalty area, cradling the ball in his right hand, waiting for the confirmation.
Dance, you know where that came from? I don't think Gary O'Neill's going to be very happy with his goalkeeper Jose Sarr, because Wolves are under a lot of pressure, and as Doughty gets the cross in, Jose Sarr takes it, and you want him just to calm down. He tries to roll it out to Lemina and then gets robbed, and then all of a sudden, within 2 seconds, Gary O'Neill's team have got a penalty against him. He'll be saying to Jose Sarr's goalkeeper, your experience, just calm everything down.
Penalty confirmed. John Brooks, the VAR, upholds the decision on field from Josh Smith, and now Carlton Morris, who scored Luton Town's first ever Premier League goal from the penalty spot at Brighton in what ended up being a 4-1 defeat, now has the chance to score his second Premier League goal and bring Luton level against Wolverhampton Wanderers with just over 25 minutes to go. Jose Sarr being told by the referee to stand on the goal line and no funny business. Goalkeepers have been told that now. Morris now takes 2 or 3 strides back from the ball. Referee checks for encroachment. Massive moment in the game here on Talksport 2 at Kenilworth Road. Morris to try and bring Luton Town level. Right-footed effort, steps up to the ball, rolls it into the bottom corner, sends Jose Sarr the wrong way, takes the acclaim of the Kenilworth end, and it's all square with 25 to go in Bedfordshire. Bedlam in Bedfordshire. It's Luton 1, Wolves 1.
There was no bedlam going on in Carlton Morris's head, Dance, because he was the coolest man in Kenilworth Road. As he's run up to take the penalty, he has that little hesitation, he has that little step. He waits for Jose Sarr to commit himself to his left-hand side, and then Carlton Morris just rolls it to the right-hand side of Jose Sarr, sends him the wrong way, puts Luton well back in this game at 1-1.
Goals flying in elsewhere. Plymouth 5, Norwich 0 at Home Park. Morgan Whittaker. Middlesbrough in front against Southampton. They were behind, but Johnny Howson with a penalty. Jamie Vardy puts Leicester ahead from the penalty spot against Bristol City in the Championship. Notts County back in front against Forest Green. 3-2, John Bostock. Fajiri Okenabiri equalises for Cambridge at home to Port Vale. Walsall down to 10 men, but they're level with Wimbledon now. Freddie Draper making it 1-1. And here at Kenilworth Road, we've got just over a quarter of the game to go. And now there is much more belief inside Kenilworth Road that they can get their first 3-point haul. Morris has brought them level. Ogbene into the area, left-hand side, tries to pull it back, and Dawson puts it behind for a corner kick at the Kenilworth end. 1-1.
You can hear the Kenilworth Road faithful dance getting behind their team. They realise that this is a massive game. in Luton's season, especially here at Kenilworth Road. They've got to make sure that they win their games here, give themselves a chance of staying in the Premier League. So Doughty's going to take the ball on this left-hand side, corner for Luton, with his left foot out swinging.
At the Kenilworth end, where it meets the Bobbers stand, Doughty just carefully steps 2 or 3 paces back from the ball. Left-footed out swinging corner to come. Nakamba making a run into the box. Morris goes to the far post. Cross for Nakamba. Oh, he's fluffed his chance. It was about 10 yards out. He was unmarked and he tried to drive it goalwards as the ball bounced, but it sat up a bit for him and he dragged it well wide in the end for a Wolverhampton Wanderers goal kick. 1-1 on Talksport 2.
Oh, Nakamba just got to show a little bit of composure there. That wasn't exactly marvellous dance, was it, when it came to him as the ball just sat up for him on his left foot. He's just got to just make sure it's a lazy strike with his left foot. He's actually snapped it, hit the ball into the ground, didn't even hit the target.
1-1 on Talksport 2. 3-3 at Portman Road. Blackburn have equalised to Ipswich. Sammy Smodics, the leaders of the National League, Chesterfield, 2-1 up against Wealdstone. Liam Mandeville. AFC Wimbledon back in front at 10-man Walsall. Jack Curry, 2-1. Notts County 4, Forest Green 2 now. David McGoldrick with the 4th for Notts County, and Chesterfield now 3-1 upon Wealdstone. Michael Jacobs this time for the Spyrites. 68 minutes gone. Wolves attacking. They had the lead early in the second half, despite being down to 10 men through Pedro Neto. But Carlton Morris's penalty has brought Luton all square. Long ball over Carlton Morris's head. And it's tidied up at the back by Max Kilman, who hits a long raking pass down the left-hand side for Matt Doherty, who was so used to seeing players a right-sided full-back or wing-back, doing a job for Gary O'Neill out there in this second half on the left-hand side of the Wolves defence come midfield.
To be fair, Dance, he's not going to be hard to pick up, is he, Matt Doherty, out on that left-hand side with those dazzling pink boots that he's wearing.
Now here's Chidozie Ogbene as Pedro Neto's down on the deck in the other half of the field. Ogbene into the box, angles tight, shot blocked behind by Dawson for another Luton Town corner, 1-1.
Always good defending in the end from Craig Dawson. Ogbene just picking the ball up on this left-hand side again. I think he should have gone on the outside of Craig Dawson a little bit earlier, Dance, because he gave himself a chance to get across and get his block in. But again, it's another corner for Luton over on their left-hand side.
So Doughty again with a corner at the Kenilworth end for Luton Town. Terrific atmosphere inside this tight little stadium. Just over 20 minutes to go. Doughty's corner headed out by Matt Doherty. Comes out to Kabore. Gives it back out to the left wing, and Alfie Doughty sends the ball back into the box. Headed out again by Matt Doherty for Wolverhampton Wanderers. But there's nobody who can retrieve the ball further down the field for the visitors. And so Luton have it back. Marvellous Nakamba just ahead of the centre circle. Doughty was in space on this near side, but he hasn't used him. Swansea 2, Sheffield Wednesday 0. Swansea going to get their first win, it seems. Jerry Yates. Here's Amari Bell with the latest cross for Luton. Headed up in the air by Kilman. Drops inside the D. João Gomez inadvertently heads it back into his own penalty area, but Luton can't profit. But then they win it back. Chidozie Ogbene down this near side, the Luton left. Up to the left-hand corner of the box. Doughty is just behind him, receives it now, first time cross, swirls it too far, it's deep, it's out of play on the full, it's a goal kick to Wolves. Leeds have the lead against Watford at Ellen Road. They're 5 unbeaten in the league, and Joel Pirot has put them in front. What have we got left in these last 20 minutes or so, Perry Groves, at 1-1?
Well, I think the way the game's going to go, Dance, is going to be Luton putting Wolves under pressure, Wolves dropping a little bit deeper. We saw another example there on their left-hand side for Ogbene and Morris having a little interchange, and then in the end it was Doughty who just put the ball into tried to put it into the 18-yard box and cross it behind the goal. So that's where Luton have to take more care on that final pass.
Well, Wolves have just made a change, Perry. They've taken off Matthias Cunha and brought on Boubacar Traoré, who's the defensive midfielder. So that's a clear indication that Gary O'Neill wants to try and plug some gaps and stop Luton getting through. But they've still got Pedro Neto, a live wire, to try and create things further up the pitch. Luton win it back, and there was a foul on a Luton player bang on halfway. And a former Wolves player is going to be on in a minute, in Ryan Giles, to play against his old club. Meantime, it's currently Luton 1, Wolves 1. For the latest odds, head to William Hill, the official betting partner of Talksport 2's Premier League coverage, where right now you can get Luton 7-5 to go on and win. The draw 17-20. Wolves to nick the points. That's 15-2. That's all thanks to William Hill. Get epic value all season with William Hill. 18 plus. BeGambleAware.org is the website you need. So Alfie Doughty's the first player to go off, and also Jacob Brown coming off because Cauley Woodrow is also being called upon by Rob Edwards to try and get all 3 points for Luton Town. 1-1 against 10-man Wolverhampton Wanderers. Here's Perry Groves.
Well, Rob Edwards obviously knows how important this game is. He's made his 2 substitutions. Ryan Giles coming on this left-hand side for Alfie Doughty, who's very good in the first half. If you look at Ryan Giles' dance, I think he's in the top 10 for crosses in the Premier League this season.
Long ball downfield for Wolverhampton Wanderers, headed back towards the halfway line by Lockyer. Just drift away from João Gomez, and Reece Burke volleys it back into the Wolves half of the field. Out of play it goes. Swansea 3, Sheffield Wednesday 0. Charlie Patino. Is that the Arsenal loanee, Charlie Patino?
Yeah,
it is.
Little midfield player.
Yeah, that's the point surely sealed for Michael Duff for his first win, and piling the pressure on Xisco Munoz at Sheffield Wednesday. Meantime, free kick for Luton as Traore, his first involvement to bring down Amari Bell. Goals elsewhere. Leeds 2-0 upon Watford now. Sam Byram. Mansfield in League 2, unbeaten at the start of this season, and they lead Barrow by a 0-0. Ollie Clark. Stevenage 2-0 up at Cheltenham. Elliot List. And Bristol Rovers 4, Wigan 1. John Marquis gets the 4th for Joey Barton's men. And there's a Wolves player down. It's Mario Lamina, who's just slowly picking himself up just inside the halfway line, but it will be a free kick to Wolverhampton Wanderers. And this is what's happening now. When players know they don't want treatment, they take the maximum amount of time to get off the deck. Perry Groves, very, I won't say gingerly get up, because you get upset when I say that.
Hesitantly.
Yeah, there you go.
She's very gingerist, actually.
I'll see you in court. 17 minutes to go. Is there to be a winner here? Luton have a free kick. Remember, they've got a man advantage. They've had that since the 39th minute of the game. It's to be sent in by Giles against his former club, and it ricochets through to Jose Sarr. So yeah, Ryan Giles, 23 years of age, joined from Wolves in July. Just made 1 appearance for Wolves. That was in the FA Cup back in 2019. He had 7 loan clubs, including Telford United. That was his first loan. That was when he played for Rob Edwards, who was coaching there at the time.
Yeah, and I think he played from him for Wolves under 23s as well.
That's right.
When he was there. So obviously Rob Edwards would follow his career with a lot of interest.
Jose Sarr clears downfield. Plymouth 5, Norwich 1. Comebacks on for Norwich. Adam Eder gets one back at home park. Now here's Nelson Semedo for Wolves. Back in field it goes to Traore. Ball along the halfway line, right to left for Toti Gomez. He's faced up by Cauley Woodrow, who's not long come on for Jacob Brown, who put in a good shift for Luton today. Jacob Brown, Perry Groves.
Yep, he was always lively, so he was always looking to get beyond the Wolverhampton Wanderers back 4, which obviously turned into a back 3. So Cauley Woodrow's come on, just a like for like over on that right hand side. O'Bennett coming over onto the left hand side, see if he can get that link up going with Ryan Giles like he had with Alfie Doughty in the first half.
Still 0-0 between Crystal Palace and Fulham in one of the other 3 o'clock Premier League games, and Manchester City still 2-0 upon Nottingham Forest, although Manchester City were down to 10 men early in the second half with a straight red card for Rodri. It's a red card here too that went the way of John Risner Bayagard of Wolves. Despite that, Wolves went ahead with 10 men early in the second half with Pedro Neto. Carlton Morris, who's just flicking the ball on here, getting Luton back level from the penalty spot. We've got just less than quarter of an hour to go on Talksport 2. Here is Boubacar Traore. Good strength on halfway. Carrying the ball towards the edge of the Luton penalty area. Plays it to his right for Nelson Semedo. Neto, who'd been on the deck just a moment or so ago, now picks himself up. The ball's rolled back to Craig Dawson on halfway. Gets his head up. Not much diagonally, so he plays a straight ball into the feet of João Gomez. Semedo cuts in field. Neto loses possession to Marvellous Nakamba. And back it goes to Thomas Kaminski. A third for Stevenage at goalless, winless Cheltenham. Elliot List with the third for Stevenage, who are now going to go 7 unbeaten in all competitions under Steve Evans. Should call him Steve Evansage, just makes it easier.
And Cheltenham will create that record of going the first 9 league games without scoring, taking it away from Halifax, so the Showmen will be really happy.
We've got a few minutes to do something about that. Here's Giles against his old club. Down the Luton left, he goes past Semedo. He's taken it too far, he couldn't wrap his foot round it. He dropped his shoulder and looked like he got away from Semedo, but credit Nelson Semedo for not letting him get away and get the space for the cross. 1-1.
Yeah, we didn't dive in, did he, Semedo? Just an extra touch there from Ryan Giles. So now, Dance, we're coming up to the 78th minute. When Luton get themselves into that final third, can they show that little bit of invention, that little bit of creativity?
You're listening to Luton 1, Wolves 1 on Talksport 2 with Now. Don't forget that with Now you can stream all the Sky Sports action like Brentford versus Everton live today for $11.99. No contract, search Now Sports for all the details. Big night of boxing live on the Talksport network tonight from 7 o'clock. We're on Talksport 2 for the undercard at Wembley Arena, and then Talksport joins in at 10 p.m. Zhili Zhang against Joe Joyce 2 with Adam Catchell and the team. But before that on Talksport from 8 o'clock it is Burnley against Manchester United at Turf Moor. Faye will be hosting that with Sam Matterface and Mickey Gray, the commentary team, up at Turf Moor. 1-1 here. Notts County 4, Forest Green 3. A hat-trick for Troy Deeney. Could score a hat-trick and be on the losing side, who's now a coach at Forest Green these days, Troy.
Just trying to think when the last time Forest Green scored more than 1 goal in a game. I think I had hair, didn't I?
Benny was running through, but there was a foul on Mario Lemina as Luton won the ball back, and so it's a free kick to Wolves as the sun sits ever deeper in the sky and very, very much glaring into our vision from behind the main stand. And don't forget Talksport Breakfast back on Monday morning from 6 a.m. with Natalie Sawyer and Ray Parler, looking back on a huge weekend of sport, including that North London derby, which you're all looking so forward to, you Arsenal and Tottenham ex-players. You love it. That's from 6 a.m. when you wake up. Now push on Chidozie Ogbeni by Nelson Semedo has given Luton Town a free kick about 25 yards from the dead ball line, right in on this near touch line, and a chance for them to swing the ball into the box and cause Wolves problems here. 1-1 the score.
Yeah, Nelson Semedo thought he was going to go shoulder to shoulder with Ogbene, and in the end it was Semedo's shoulder went in the back of Ogbene, quite rightly. Josh Smith, the referee, who's refereed the game really well, Dance. It was Johnny on the spot, wasn't he? Gave the free kick. Ryan Giles got to make sure he's going to bend it in with his left foot round the penalty spot.
In it comes from Giles. Good delivery. Up goes Morris, goes just beyond him. Boubacar Traore hooks it clear. Picked up by Amari Bell, but he slices his attempted ball back downfield and it goes straight out of the play on the far side for a Wolves throw. 1-1 it stays.
Dance was a brilliant ball in from Ryan Giles. He said he's just bent it into the penalty spot, and when the header comes down, you've got Mpenzu, who's 10 yards outside the 18-yard box. It comes to Boubacar Traore and he just hooks it clear. So what has happened is Mpenzu's got to make sure that he's going and winning the knockdowns to keep the pressure on the Wolves defence.
Don't forget, I mentioned Talksport Breakfast with Natalie and Ray on Monday morning. Alan and Ali are doing Wednesday to Friday this week, and Alan Brazil and Ali, of course, will be in Rome Thursday and Friday with the Ryder Cup. What could possibly go wrong with those two? Here's Giles down the left-hand side for Wolves, for Luton, former Wolves player. The cross is repelled at the back by Kilman, but Luton have it again. Reece Burke slides it into the edge of the area. Morris trying to pull the ball back across the face of goal, wins a corner off Kilman. Luton applying the pressure once again with 10 to go. It's 1-1.
Great little ball there from Reece Burke in that inside right channel. Really good run from Colton Morris from the centre of the pitch out to that right hand side, trying to get himself across Matt Doherty. In the end, Doherty did really well, just got his block in. Corner for Luton over on their right to be strung in by Ryan Giles with his left foot.
Where the main stand meets the Kenilworth end, so a left-footed in-swinger to come from Ryan Giles for Luton Town at 1-1. Again, a packed 6-yard box full of both squads' players. Headed out to the edge of the area. Kabore tries to find Chidozie Ogbeni down the left-hand side of the box, but Wolves clear, and Neto brings it over halfway. Traore making a really strong run through the middle, but Pedro Neto didn't get his head up, didn't see him, and ran into Luton shirts. One too many, and Luton have it back. It's tucked back by Mpanzu to the halfway line. He stopped his run there, Mpanzu, as it was Amari Bell carrying the ball furthest forward, and Wolves have it back. What have we got here? Ipswich 4, Blackburn 3. Ipswich back in front, Massimo Luongo. Plymouth 5, Norwich 2. Could be a comeback. Adam Eder with a second from the penalty spot. Harrogate 3, Salford 2. Harrogate back in front through Abraham Odo, and Cameron Brannigan has a second for Oxford against Exeter from the penalty spot. Blackpool 4, Reading 1, and Morecambe equalise home to unbeaten Swindon. That's 2-2 at the Globe. Ethan Walker 1-1 at Kenilworth Road on Talksport 2. 8 minutes to go. Issa Kabore goes down under pressure, and his free kick one for Wolves, midway point of their own half. Bit of frustration starting to set in around Kenilworth Road. Can the Hatters make this extra man pay in these last few minutes? It's 1-1, Perry Groves.
Yeah, this game just got a little bit scrappy, Dance, isn't it? Which suits Wolves, obviously being down to 10 men. Just there we had Kabore just having a bit of a dalliance on the ball. In the end, we let Gomez come back and just nick it off of him. And in the end, the frustration from Kabore fouling Gomez. Josh Smith, the referee, giving the free kick.
Change for Wolves. They're going to bring on Hugo Bueno, another Portuguese, and take off Nelson Semedo. 7 minutes to go. 1-1, 2-1 to Charlton at home to Wickham. Under new management, of course. Michael Appleton there, Slobodan Tedic, making it Charlton 2, Wickham 1. Free kick to Wolves inside their own half. Totti Gomez hit it diagonally out to this near side. Matt Doherty now on his more favoured right-hand side, with Hugo Bueno having just come on, but he's been dispossessed. Ball's on halfway for Luton Town with Chidozie Ogbene. Nicks it infield to Pelly Rodakampantu. Looks early for Issa Kabore down the right-hand side. He's got Bueno backpedaling, having just come onto the field. Kabore drives to the byline. Right-hand side, wins yet another corner for Luton Town at the Kenilworth end. 1-1.
Yeah, Kabore find himself 1v1 with Bueno just come on in that left-back position for Wolves. Kabore trying to go on the outside of him. To be fair to Bueno, he matched the run, got his block in. Again, it's another corner for Luton over on their right-hand side to be in swinging.
Ninth corner, I think, Pell. Ninth corner for Luton. Can they make one count? It will be Ryan Giles again. Left-footed in swinger, but before the corner is taken, they're going to take off a defender, Issa Kabore, Luton Town, and bring on one of the big men, Elijah Adebayo, part of the promotion-winning squad last season. So he's on for the last 6 minutes plus added time. Carlisle 0, Derby 2, a second James Collins penalty looks to have sealed the points for the Rams up in Cumbria. Luton's corner at 1-1. Adebayo straight into the 6-yard area, and there was a bit of pushing and shoving around Jose Sarr, who sort of moved back into his goal as if to say, come on ref, I'm getting buffeted here.
Well, what's happening, Dance, is Reece Burke and Colton Morris, they're just trying to pin Jose Sarr in so that he can't come out and claim the corner that's going to come in from Ryan Giles.
So Giles now will hit the corner into the near post. Came off Morris's shoulder, loops up in the air. Sarr goes to punch, only got it half clear under pressure from Adebayo, and Pedro Neto can't keep the ball in play on this near touchline, and Luton have a throw, but time is ticking away. 5 minutes of normal time to go. 1-1 on Talksport 2. Lockyer for Luton Town. Plays the ball right to Ogbene, who's now playing on the right-hand side for the Hatters. Looking to take on Hugo Bueno. Great pace from Ogbene, despite it being the 86th minute. Works it back to Reece Burke. First time cross, headed out to the edge of the area by Doherty. As far as Pelliera Campanzu, who gets right underneath the shot, and it goes way over the bar for a goal kick to Wolves. 1-1 it stays on Talksport 2.
Such relentless pressure from Luton Town. We said before, Dance, is can they find that little bit of quality in that final third from the wide areas? Balls are coming into the box. That time it was Reece Burke just whipping it in with his right foot. It's really good defending from Dawson and Kilman, the two Wolves centre halves. And I have to say, since he's been on, Boubacar Traore for Wolves has done really well, Dance, as well in that midfield area. Just making sure, give him a little bit of composure in there, winning his knocks downs.
We should play guess the stoppage time amount in a minute, shouldn't we? As we're getting close. What are we saying? Faye Carruthers holds up 7 fingers to me. Would you go along with that?
I thought she was holding up 2, actually.
Yeah. No, she wants 17 until such times as Luton can get themselves in front. Looking for their first ever Premier League win, Luton Town, but they're all square at the moment with 10-man Wolverhampton Wanderers. Ball's back with the Wolves keeper, Jose Sarr. Northampton 0, Barnsley 2. Devante Cole gets his 9th of the season, top scorer in the EFL, joint top now with Jake Young of Swindon Town. Luton win the ball back on halfway at 1-1 with Reece Burke. Just gets clipped by Joao Gomez, and that's a free kick taken quickly. Tom Lockyer moves up to the halfway line, options right and left, carrying the ball 20 yards into the half, out to the right hand side. Chance for Woodrow to put a cross in. Comes off Tom Lockyer inadvertently and loops behind for a Wolves goal kick away to our left-hand side. 1-1 it stays. Just looking to see if there's any further changes afoot. There aren't. Sean Derry and Gary O'Neill in conversation with each other in the Wolves technical area. Rob Edwards, arms folded, pacing up and down in his technical area, hoping that things can go Luton's way in these last few minutes. 87 minutes gone on Talksport 2. 1 apiece. Sarr's goal kick is flicked on by Boubacar Traoré, but Ogbene will pick up the pieces. 2 minutes to go then. Ogbene gets over the halfway line, carries the ball that far, then just turns and plays the ball back to Burke. Now Lockyer spots Giles making a run down this side, the left, hits a diagonal ball trying to find Giles. Can he keep it in play? He can, but Doherty's going to protect it at the dead ball line and clear through the legs of Giles out for a Luton throw. It's going to be taken quickly right underneath our commentary position by Mpanzu. Gets it back from Bell. Now here's Nakamba for Luton. Ball along the deck, left to right, seeking out Ogbene. Bueno comes to close down the space. Right-hand corner of the area. Ogbene goes in field. Turned around the corner by Pelly Runner. Gets it back. It might break for Ogbene! Flag goes up. He's put it away. The Luton fans for a moment started to celebrate, but the flag went up almost immediately against Chidozie Ogbene. And it looks like VAR may not be needed. Looks slightly ahead from the angle we've just seen on a replay. Chidozie Ogbene.
It's a lot closer dance than what I first thought, because I was in line with it. It was really good play when it come out to Marvellous Nakamba, because he's played a little no-look reverse ball into Colton Morris, got the ball back, got his shot off, a bit of a ricochet, and Ogbene just looks like he might have gone just that fraction of a second too early.
Tommy Doyle is coming on for Wolves on loan from Manchester City for the season, and Joao Gomez, the man who conceded the penalty that Carlton Morris scored for Luton Town, is coming off. We've got 20 seconds of the 90 left, and we'll see what the fourth official, Peter Banks, holds up on his scoreboard in just a second to see how much minimum stoppage time we have coming up on Talksport 2 at 1-1 between Luton and 10-man Wolves. Doherty heads the ball down the right-hand side. Up goes the board. 6 minutes that we're into now. Minimum 6 minutes of added time. And a roar goes up around Kenilworth Road to give some final encouragement to their heroes to try and get the job done. But it's going to be more than 6 minutes, because Pedro Neto is holding his head. He's been caught, and so we will play more than the regulation 6. Doncaster 2, Gillingham 1 in League 2. Gillingham 3 straight wins, but Doncaster are going to get back-to-back league wins. Newport 1, Bradford 4. Andy Cook, is that a hat-trick for Andy Cook? It might be. 4-1 to Bradford anyway. Leeds 3, Watford 0. Jaden Anthony wants a Bournemouth with the third, and St Mirren 2-0 up on Hearts in the Scottish Premiership. Neto still receiving treatment on this near side of the field, over on the far right from where we're sat. Don't forget Jamie O'Hara and Gabby Agbonlahor taking your calls on the full-time phone-in over on Talksport at 5:30 before our coverage begins for Burnley against Manchester United on Talksport, which will be our second exclusive commentary of the day on game day. You're missing none of the action here because Neto is still getting treatment from the Wolves physios down beneath this. He's just been made to sit up, so I think we're going to have at least 8 or 9 minutes on the watch past the 90 before Josh Smith blows for full time. Of course, don't forget now, supporters inside stadium can now see the stopwatch go beyond 90 minutes, so they know exactly how much time has elapsed once we got past the 90 minutes. Stockport 5, Wrexham 0. Definitely no comeback for Wrexham today. Paddy Madden, veteran EFL striker, with a 5th for Stockport at Edgeley Park. Back underway on Talksport 2, and 2 minutes of that minimum 6 have already gone. 1-1 the score. Woodrow on the right wing for Luton Town, lays it off to Burke. Burke steps outside Hugo Bueno. Ogbene level with the edge of the area, trying to tease the challenge maybe from Tommy Doyle. Lays it off to Burke. Burke, first time cross. Adebayo can't get to the header. Drops to the edge of the area. Lob goal was by Woodrow, and it lands on the roof of the net, and it'll be a goal kick to Wolverhampton Wanderers. 1-1.
You could hear the sharp intake of breath dance, couldn't you, from all the Luton Town fans, because Jose Sarr come out for the cross that was coming in from Reece Burke. Couldn't quite get there. Ends up punching it down to Cauley Woodrow, and Cauley Woodrow doing the right thing down. He's just trying to help it back in with his left foot over the top of Jose Sarr, and there's about 4 Wolves defenders all on the line, and in the end the ball didn't quite drop quick enough, went over the crossbar, just for a goal kick for Wolves.
Oxford 3, Exeter 0. Cameron Brannigan with another penalty to seal the points for Oxford. Leicester have beaten Bristol City by a 0-0 in the Championship. 3 minutes of added time gone here. Luton 1, Wolves 1. Wolves hanging on with 10 men. Lockyer for Luton. Passes out to Amari Bell, who's caught by Boubacar Traoré.
Gary O'Neill won't mind that dance from Boubacar Traoré. Just wants to make the game stop-start. Just take the passion out of the Luton Town attacks.
Here's Lockyer, the Luton captain, up to the halfway line. 1-1 the score. Diagonal ball looking for Adebayo, but that's a good header cleared by Matt Doherty. And Pansu first to the loose ball for the home side. Lockyer again, trying to set play up. Plays it along the halfway line to Burke. Out to the Luton right, and Ogbene. Ogbene's got Morris just ahead of him, but Ogbene just jockeying with the ball. Gets to the right-hand corner of the box. Hits it against Bueno, and it goes out of play for a Luton throw. Taken quickly, Morris with his back to play. Down the right-hand side of the area. Was he pulled down? Well, the Luton fans behind the goal think so. Toti Gomez was the man at his back. But no foul, says Josh Smith, and we play on.
Yeah, I think Morris went down just a little bit too easy there from Toti Gomez.
What a ball, Pelly Pansu to find Ogbene, right wing. Down the right-hand side of the Wolves penalty area. Checks onto his left. Ball to the far post. Giles steaming in, just couldn't get a touch on it. Tried to get in front of Matt Doherty, but just couldn't find the touch he wanted. It's another Wolves goal kick. It's still 1-1.
Dance, Matt Doherty there gets a few low fives from his fellow defenders, Craig Dawson, Max Kilman, because it was really good play from Ogbene on the right-hand side. Ryan Giles with his fool's nose and glasses dance, just trying to get himself inside Matt Doherty. Matt Doherty, very experienced, getting his right shoulder out, saw the run of Ryan Giles and just ease him off the ball. Ball goes out for a goal kick.
Taken by Jose Sarr for Wolves downfield. It drops in the centre of the Luton half. And Pansu is caught on halfway by Lamina. Free kick. And a yellow card for Lamina for kicking the ball away. He'd heard the whistle, and he still kicked the ball downfield anyway. So a yellow card for the Wolves, number 5. Bell with a free kick. Charlton have sealed the points against Wickham. 3-1 the score. Corey Blackett-Taylor. Palace Fulham's finished 0-0 in the Premier League at Selhurst Park. Amari Bell with a free kick for Luton. Driven up to the edge of the area. Headed in the air by Tommy Doyle of Wolves. Headed further cleared by Bueno. Going to drop for Boubacar Traoré. Quick feet from him. Toe pokes it towards halfway, but only as far as Chidozie Ogbene, who takes the ball around Hugo Bueno, but across comes Lamina. Only half clears it. Luton have it on the right-hand side. Pellerin Campanzo. Now Morris down the right-hand side of the box for Cauley Woodrow. Couldn't hold it up with enough strength, and between Toti Gomez and Lamina, they get it clear. Again, only as far as Mpanzu. Level the edge of the area now. Ogbene, right-footed ball into the near post, cleared away by Gomez, and then Neto puts it out for a throw. We've played the 6 minutes minimum, but there'll be a little bit more to go. 1-1 on Talksport 2 in the last knockings. Can Luton open the door and get their first Premier League win against 10-man Wolves, or can Gary O'Neill's men hang on? Ogbene into the area, pulled back for Woodrow, brilliant block by Boubacar Traore, but it's gone behind for a corner kick, and now Traore gets the high fives from his teammates.
Fantastic block from Boubacar Traore there. Good play from Luton down there. Right hand side, Ogbene and Mpenzo just sliding and cutting it back for Colin Woodrow. Colin Woodrow looks like with his right foot he's going to bend it in Jose Sarr's top left hand corner, and it was a goal saving tackle there, Dance, from Boubacar Traore. Ball goes out for a corner for Luton over on their right hand side, taken by Ryan Giles, in swing with his left foot.
Well, Lamina's gone down again, wanting more treatment, but it will be a corner kick that Ryan Giles has got put down in the quadrant where the main stand meets the Kenilworth end. 1-1. Luton's corner into the near post from Giles, headed out by Hugo Bueno. Pedro Neto scrapping for possession with Nakamba, gets the better of him, clips it up to halfway. We play on Talksport 2. Luton have it back. Bell plays the ball square to his left, and Pelly-Roda Campanzu, he's going to send this up to the edge of the area. Fight ball for Morris and Kilman. Kilman gets the better of it, and Tommy Doyle lays it off to Hugo Bueno for Wolves. He clears downfield, and we still play on. Lockyer retrieves the loose ball. All eyes on the referee, who watches on as Lockyer brings the ball over halfway for Luton Town, and there goes the full-time whistle, and Luton are still waiting for their first Premier League win. They have a point, their first point at Kenilworth Road. They would hoped it would have been 3, as they played the majority of this game against 10-men Wolves. Went down to 10 in the 39th minute of the game. A straight red card for Jean-Risner Beauregard for a stamp on Tom Lockyer. But Wolves then went ahead early in the second half through Pedro Neto, getting the better of Tom Lockyer, getting into the area and hammering the ball past Thomas Kaminski. But then a handball by Joao Gomez inside the area saw Luton awarded a penalty. Carlton Morris, who'd seen a fantastic shot hit the angle of post and bar in the first half, casually rolled home the penalty at the Kenilworth end, and that proved to be the goal that sealed a point for Rob Edwards against his former club. Full-time honours even at Kenilworth Road. Luton Town 1, Wolverhampton Wanderers 1.
Well, that was a thrilling game to watch from start to finish. Nerve-wracking as a Luton fan, I can tell you that. But Luton do have their first point of their Premier League campaign. Perry Groves, should it have been more?
To be fair, Faye, I actually think in the end a draw was probably about right, and the reason being, I think from Luton's point of view, after they have that one-man advantage, obviously with Golgade getting sent off in the 39th minute, they didn't really create any clear-cut chances, Faye, did they? I can't remember Jose Sarr having many saves to make. There was relentless pressure, the ball was coming in from wide areas, just need that little bit of quality, find that final pass which Luton couldn't find, and a bit of quality in the second half actually came from Wolverhampton Wanderers on the counter-attack, because we said about Luton maybe picking the wrong pass. It was Alfie Doty actually gave the ball away to Lamina, and it was to Gomez, and it was Gomez with a brilliant ball the outside of his right foot, just trying to play it inside Tom Lockyer, and it looked like Tom Lockyer was the favourite, and what he should have done, he should have lent into Neto. He should use his body strength, and he didn't. He missed him. Neto then just zipped across the front of him, got it onto his left foot, and then smashed it into Kaminski's near post, gave himself absolutely no chance, and obviously Wolves went 1-0 up.
Luton Town fans giving their players a standing ovation, but actually the players' heads are down, because I think they are frustrated with that lack of clinical edge that they have in the final third. Let's talk about the penalty, because a lot of talk on social media about it not being a penalty. And by the way, I'm not about to say this because I'm a Luton fan in the slightest, because we've had decisions go against us this season, but the law states intent isn't taken into account. A player with an arm in an unnatural position runs the risk of a handball, and this is the key part, rightly or wrongly, this is the law. In the current reading, a handball is penalised regardless of deflection off of another player or off of a player's body.
Yep.
Therefore, handball.
Yeah, well, with Gomez, what he would say was that he can't put his hands anywhere else because it's his balance. He's going to try and close the ball down, but his right arm is away from his body. When Kabura has his shot, then it does ricochet and it hits his right forearm. So we're looking at it, trying to, through the sun, over on the far side, Dan sent me over on the right-hand side, trying to look at our monitors through the sun as well. And soon as Josh Smith, the referee, gave the penalty, I don't think there was any chance of it being overturned, because it's not a clear, and VAR is for clear and obvious errors.
Yeah.
And I don't think that's a clear and obvious error.
We had one against West Ham where James Ward-Prowse handled the ball and it wasn't looked at, and it didn't go to review. It's a really difficult one. I've got to the point now.
Nobody knows.
No, and this is it. Every single week, I genuinely can't tell you whether it should or shouldn't be.
What we need is a television programme with Howard Webb on it. That'll solve everything.
But
they are
worked so well so far.
Listen, they are trying to be, really open and transparent about what they're trying to do behind the scenes. They can't week in, week out, no matter how much training they're giving the referees, go down and analyse every single decision all the time. It's really it's difficult for them.
I feel for the referees.
I do.
That was a good ref we had out there today.
Yeah.
He was Josh Smith. Dan said it was his second ever Premier League game. I thought he refereed the game excellently.
Agreed.
He tried to let it flow. He wasn't giving out what Steve said. They don't want to get like silly yellow cards, so you put yourself under pressure, which he didn't. I thought he got the sending off spot on for Bellegarde, because he could have waited for VAR, but he made the decision. And the two things I liked about Josh Smith, he made both decisions himself. He gave the penalty himself in real time.
Funny that, from a guy who's reffed a lot in the EFL.
But that's what they're trying to do. That they're giving the power back to the on-field referee, because they understood that VAR was intervening when it shouldn't be intervening, and so we're making progress in terms of the officiating,
yes.
But there are still issues that need ironing out quite clearly. And I wonder whether Gary O'Neill might speak to Josh Smith and find out exactly why that was given, get an explanation, because this is what the managers have to do. They need to understand, because the players need to understand when they take the field.
But as you just said there, the laws and the rules of the game aren't really helping the referees.
No.
Because as an ex-player, I know full well that when the ball ricochets, Gomez can't put his hands anywhere else because he's closing down, and you can't put your hands behind your back because you're going to fall over. You know what I mean? So you've got your hands there for balance, but as soon as it's away from his body, Dance and myself looked at each other and just thought, that's going to be given as a penalty.
Yeah.
And it's not a horrendous decision.
What would have been interesting is if it hadn't been given on field as a penalty, would VAR have reviewed it and changed the decision?
Well, I think they would have had to, because the laws of the game say that that's a penalty. With the current laws, and how many times do we say the law is an ass? The law is an ass at the moment. It doesn't make any sense. But PGMOL don't make the laws. That's IFAB. So their hands are behind their back with a lot of these things.
It's like Judge Dredd, I am the law.
Yeah.
But don't fight the law, and the law won't win.
Oh my goodness. Oh God, we could have a law off at this rate for
Let's go and get Dennis
for the next 5 minutes. Let's try and take some positives out of it for both these sides. At the beginning of our build-up, Perry, you said that both will be scrapping down the bottom. Battling was the adjective that you used in terms of being against relegation. What did you see from both of them that tells you that they might have the edge in terms of staying up?
Well, they both battled without any shadow of a doubt, especially from Wolverhampton Wanderers' point of view, because Luton in the first 25 minutes, half an hour, were relentless. It was all Luton dance, wasn't it? It was all in Wolves' final third. There was a lot of pressure that was being applied by Luton. Again, it was just, they had a couple of decent balls going across the 6-yard box, but I'd like to see Colton Morris maybe gamble a little bit more across the near post, because you've got to get yourself across the eye line of the opposition's goalkeeper, which is Jose Sarr, which wasn't really happening. Then Wolves obviously went down to 10 men, and to be fair to Gary O'Neill, in the second half, he actually went quite brave, didn't he? Because he went 3-4-2, and he had Cunha and Neto up front, and that paid dividends because they hit Luton on the counter-attack when Neto got his goal. Then you think, right, what have Luton got? So to be fair to Rob Edwards, then he makes changes, puts a bit of fresh legs on, Adebayo comes on,
Could that have been done earlier, in your opinion?
I think so, yeah. I think, again, we've got to see this is Luton Town players who have never played in the Premier League before, so they're learning as they go. Rob Edwards has never managed in the Premier League before, and he's a manager who's at the sort of the beginning of his career. So I think he might look back. It's easy for me to say we're up in the gantry looking down saying, right, come on, take one of your centre-halves off, put another centre-forward on. But maybe next time, maybe he might do that and just take that little gamble and put Wolves under pressure, because it was very samey in the second half from Luton's point of view, and they couldn't. They were creating pressure. They had loads of corners, then they had loads of free kicks, Dance.
10 corners, I think.
But I think as well, I'd like to see Luton try and be a little bit more inventive on their corners, because obviously they want to try and block the option goalkeeper in, which is Jose Sarr. You get Morris around him, you get Burke around him, and as Dan said, you try and make it into a fight ball, where they just bend the ball into the 6-yard box, you hope it drops down, you get onto the end of the knockdown. But maybe they can have little 2v1s and just try and move the Wolves defensive unit around, which they didn't really do. And this is just the one criticism I would have of Luton. Effort, like 10 out of 10 without any shadow of doubt. Commitment and attitude, just that little bit of creativity, that little bit of inventiveness that was maybe missing.
And the finesse.
Yes, in that final third. But he'll be delighted, Rob Edwards, with his team's effort. But I think he'll see it as a missed opportunity when the opposition go down to 10 and on the 39th minute.
Yeah.